futures back under pressure once again this morning, coming off the worst single-day performance in a couple of years for all three U.S. indexes, down about 1% right now for the S&P. We're getting weekly jobless claims as I speak. Looks like a little bit higher than expected once again, 2 weeks in a row here, 218,000 versus 203 expected, so a bit of an uptick once again. For the weekly jobless claims. Overall, yesterday, the Dow ends this session down more than 1,100 points. It was down more than 1,200 at its worst yesterday. Its worst sell-off in more than 2 years. The S&P suffered its worst single-day decline since June of 2020, falling more than 4%. It was the NASDAQ once again leading the way, down more than 5% at its lows, but finished the day 4.7%. to the downside. All of the declines this week led by retail and retail earnings. We get more of them today from Kohl's, but all of the retail names we've been talking about over the past few days under pressure once again here in the pre-market. Again, initial jobless claims, if you missed it, they're a little bit higher than expected for a couple of weeks in a row. Should be an interesting one. Let's get into it. It's Thursday, May 19th, 2022. TraderTV.live starts now. And there we go. Look at where we're at right now. It's actually getting worse as we speak. Back to the downside for the S&P, about 1.15 currently. The Dow full percent, the NASDAQ about the same. The TSX futures here in Toronto pointing to about a 1% move back to the downside as well. Yeah, crude oil, I just noticed as well at session lows, down about 2% again this morning, coming off as it did all day yesterday. Bitcoin and Ethereum relatively unchanged. It's worth noting, you know, how the crypto markets have held up as some of the equity markets continue to slide here. So welcome to Thursday. Good morning, guys. We are in for another wild ride, it would appear, down a full percent for the S&P. Again, if you missed it, their initial jobless claims upticking for the second week in a row as we get more retail earnings.
Yeah, and speaking of those retail earnings, not all doom and gloom. I'm just in this SIGA, I don't know, SIGA. So I'll be on the side sort of trading that one, failing at kind of $10 right now. But not all bad on retail, because retail stocks can go up if they are named BJ's. Kohl's is going to be down, and we'll talk about the Cisco earnings. I'll say Cisco earnings with a chuckle because they weren't that great. They're down. SSR, 10%. But hey, KBI seems to think, I think they got an upgrade, which is a little bit weird. But yeah, it's the crypto one is a bit interesting, and I actually am looking at Coinbase today, and again, it's caught a bounce. You just cannot get away from this 30,000 mark, but there's going to be a theme today to me, and that's we've seen what's happened in the futures. Resistance has mattered more than support, yet today we're going to come in and see just support everywhere. Like, you're going to find weekly support levels. I mean, Coinbase, that's what $60 looks like, but it is absolutely eerie to me. If you go back to last week and have a quick look at what happened in the middle of the week, the NASDAQ made its double top and then decided it wanted to roll over and retest that low, get down to that low of 11.7 on the NASDAQ. And then what did we do the last 2 days? We made that exact same double top, and on Thursday, we're revisiting that exact same low. So history has a way of repeating itself. The week has a way of repeating itself. So it was all about resistance levels yesterday. Today, it's all about the support levels. So buckle up.
Yeah. Wow. Well, look, it's going to be an exciting day once again. I mean, this whole month, this whole year has been absolutely hot fire. So let's just keep this rally going on in you know, not the stocks, but in volatility. And I mean, I think that's what really we're looking at right now. Again, here today, we have Microsoft coming up to 250. I mean, that's going to be a monster. That is a monster level. That's going to hit. I'm long Lucid right now. I mean, there's some good stories out there. Oh, and what was a good story was yesterday, we hit 300,000 subscribers. So I want to give a big thank you to everybody for that one. We've tweeted that out, and just, you know, that was a big announcement that we had to make there yesterday. So thank you everybody for that. Thank you for checking out the Sticky Note once again here today. And yeah, we're ready to rock and roll. It's going to be a good day. I like the Lucid story. We'll talk about that as that comes through. On here we have Cisco, Lucid, AMD, Microsoft, Facebook. Couple good stocks on there, a couple levels as well. But yeah, names coming off again today. I'm waiting for that sort of capitulation day. I don't know, maybe it was yesterday where we dropped that 5%, on decent volume. So let's just see what happens here today. You're down 1.2% now. We know we can make that back in a heartbeat. But I think it's still going to be a short day. Got to pick our poison. And I'm interested in crypto as well. Very, very surprised how well that's held up. Like Bitcoin at 29.4 right now that I look at it. Ethereum not as well. I mean, it's down to 19.5. Some of those other layer 1 and 2 coins there, like Cardano, Avalanche, Solana, things like that, continue to get hit as well with Ethereum. But Bitcoin as a, I guess, wealth instrument or an asset class itself seems to be holding its value right now. So yeah, maybe there is something on that Coinbase trade.
Yeah, no, it's a great point when it comes to the overall market and the volume that we saw come back into the downside yesterday. But it was in a very controlled kind of march to the downside throughout the entire day, but higher again on the relative volume scale for the overall S&P once again yesterday. Before we go any further, let's bring in Miss V. Good morning.
Good morning, team. Happy trading to you all. I wish you a great, profitable day. Please make sure you like this video and let's get it started, Brandon.
Yeah, lots to talk about once again this morning. We'll get into the retail side of things once again as we get Kohl's today. More negativity surrounding Walmart, more negativity surrounding Target. Not news-based, but I mean price action-wise, back to the downside for both again this morning. Here's a big mover to talk about, though, right out of the gate here. Yeah, Cisco gets chopped here in the pre-market, and it's worth noting the entire group, Juniper, FFIV, Annette, CIEN as well, all down between 2.7 and 7% along with Cisco this morning. So as we saw, a lot of the retailers under pressure over the past couple of days, even when they haven't reported yet, Macy's. Here we go with some of these networking names.
Yeah, Sienna. We'll talk about Cisco. They're already SSR, and it was actually worse than this overnight. Not overnight, aftermarket. If you look at the charts, it's got to $40 in the aftermarket. At one point, it was trading pretty much, I think it was like 20% to the downside, or at least very close to it. And it wasn't the top or bottom. Like this was simply about the guide forward and the concerns that they have going forward. And sometimes when these slowdowns happen, it's just a cascading effect. I always chuckle when I hear Sienna because the very first algo gone mad that got broken that I ever got to witness was trading on Sienna, and it was back in 2004, 2005. It was some rampant buy program that just went nuts on 4 stocks, and Sienna happened to be one of them. It was pretty wild to watch, but yeah, they just got swept up in this. Cisco, I just had to feel like it's a short, so it's not. It's got a nice little tight range here, but in this particular market, I'm going to respect resistance. Only in this case, you're in the middle of no man's land. And that's just, the reality is when you break shelves like this, yeah, giddy up, because that's what happens. You had this support which was there for the last month or so that gets wiped out on those earnings, then you're just instantly back to 2020 levels. And the only thing you have to look at is, okay, does old support matter as much? I don't know, are things the same as they were 2 years ago? In a lot of ways, obviously not, with supply chain concerns coming full to the front, and of course with inflation being a concern. But I can look to some of those levels to maybe be some resistance as it comes back in. So I'm looking at that 44, which will support to turn into resistance. I'm going to be short Cisco in front of it. If it breaks, good for the company, but that just means the short lost.
Yeah, well, Cisco, and again, if you guys are watching it, we talked, Trader Prad, everybody here talks about how you can't miss out on the sticky note today. Cisco is the #1 name on there. And again, I don't know if it's going to be my #1 stock to trade, but yeah, the same levels, man. I really like that 44 level. They cut guidance, they missed revenue. So yeah, I'm going to be there, with open arms, waiting to get the short here in Cisco. It just needs to go up a little bit for me. If we break below this 42.50, then we can rock and roll with that as well. I'd rather that happen as the market opens. But yeah, Cisco down 11.5%. This business is finished with. I don't even think this is an investable name at this point. It's held up. The reason why it's held up so well in this whole crash of major cap tech stocks. I mean, we were just at 64 back in January. Well, that was fantastic, right? I just feel like there's a lot of competition out there for Cisco, and now they're cutting the guidance. I almost feel like this move should have been even more dramatic to the downside. I shouldn't say it's not an investable name. I mean, if you like the space, they're into the cybersecurity. It's just, I don't know. I don't really hear too much about Cisco anymore, which might not be a horrible thing. It's kind of flown under the radar here. So there's that. There's also a dividend involved here. So yeah, if you want to look at past support and resistance, yeah, then you're getting like 38. You might get that at some point. I just look at these older tech names, you know, and I worry about them. I mean, IBM's done well, but then you get like Walmart, and I know that's not tech. I'm just talking about like older names here, you know, that continue to get hit down. And I just don't know. Like, I don't know if Cisco's going to give you that return if the market or when the market eventually turns around. I think you're going to be better off in a CrowdStrike, in a Palo Alto, something like that as well. If you're looking for cybersecurity, I just feel like there's better names out there right now than Cisco, and you can take advantage of some of the pricing in the space and not really look at Cisco, because if you've been holding that stock, I mean, we could zoom back out for years and years and decades. You know, it just reminds me of a slow growth name, which is fine, but you know, I'm looking to get a little better return heading into the next couple months, you know, if and when this market rallies. But Cisco used to be a safe place to hide your money. It doesn't look like that anymore, down 12% right now. So for me, I'm looking for the short. Hey, it might rally, man. I mean, I'm looking to get short, you know, around 43.50-ish, and then see what happens at that 44 area. So for me right now, I'm going to be looking to short Cisco just like we did yesterday on Target. That turned out to be a fantastic trade, and hopefully Cisco can be something similar to that. We touched 40 earlier, right? So it was 40 last night. Now it's 43. Does it really deserve a 10% bump up and still be down 11%? So I'm going to look to short Cisco here, Brendan, and hopefully that's going to be one of my first positions.
As I mentioned, we'll get into the retail names and the retail side of things once again here this morning. As we saw yesterday, though, guys, there is one kind of standout again today. TJX yesterday. Remember when I showed you the heat map around 1040, it was the only green square on the entire board. Here's BJ Wholesale this morning, guys, up 7% after a really good report. Yeah, profit, revenue, and same-store sales all beating expectations.
There is a but in here, and the but is, like, BJ's went from 60, what were we at the open? 60 bucks or so, and then closed at $53 yesterday. So it's actually, and remember, like, this is because of what happened to Target, like, well, Walmart and Target in the entire space. So it is still down from the beginning of the week. So despite the good report, they're still getting wrapped up in this. However, you know, green is green, man. Like, I'm not going to take anything away from coming out and beating expectations when everybody else in your space is getting crushed. I do think, you know, I'd like to hope that the stock has a floor on it were it to fall, given its relative strength, and clearly it's put a channel in that makes some sense. But now you're so far away from it that I don't know that you can stick to that. I think the round 55 is going to make a little bit of sense here as a strong name. And the one thing to keep in mind, like, remember relative strength. If there's a bid that gets caught in something like a Target, like it gets it back above like a 165 and holds it, and Walmart maybe can hold some key levels to the upside. If you see other names start to go that were beaten up, try to remember that BJ's before this entire mess was holding 60 and just beat their support. Like, this would be one that if you get a recovery in the other names should be trading above the $60 mark, but it's going to get dragged down with the group. Like, I don't care how strong it seems, if the rest of the group continue to make lows, it's going to be very difficult for BJ wholesalers to hold up there. Now, I tend to think the entire group, given the earnings, you know, until they start breaking out, it's still a little bit of a short, but there are some pretty key levels that I think can hold up. If I was to defend something, it'd be 55, but this does not do a ton of volume, and it is not at the top of the list either. But we get that recovery, and watch back out for that 60 level. That should be a doozy.
All right, we're gonna go. I didn't look at BJ's today, so here we go. Cisco right now, we're into that short. We're short at 43.40. I just said hopefully this will be the trade that I get into. Well, guess what? Here we are. We're short right now. Cisco into that level there. That's 43.50. We're looking at 44 to get taken down. We're gonna bid a little bit out of here if we can near that 43. So if we could take 40 cents on the first little bit of this, I think we'll probably wind up doing that. But again, we have a decent sized position right now in Cisco. In the pre-market. I don't like taking too many shares in the pre-market, so we're going to wait to see if it does float up to 44 bucks, but we're not going to sit here and look this I mean, I'm bidding 43.10 right now, so hopefully this can come back down. We're already 20 cents in the money, so we'll hit a slap shot for that. Here we go. This is a good trade, so hopefully it comes back down in. I could punch out right now at 12s or 13s. That might not be a horrible spot. 27 cents in the money right now, Brendo. So far, so good here on Cisco.
All right. We're going to get into some opportunities or potential opportunities here with our good friend Rahim Alani from OCI Groups here in Toronto, talking about what happened a little bit yesterday and how it might come across the border or potentially come across the border to some of the Canadian retail names. Great to see you as always.
Likewise.
Welcome back. It is an interesting week, an interesting market overall. I mean, we've talked about inflation, that side of the story a little bit, and how it hasn't been so bad on this side of the border. We got CPI in Canada out earlier in the week. Still higher than expected, but it was interesting. I read after the fact that the rate that it's increasing in Canada versus the U.S. is actually slowing dramatically.
Yep.
But when it comes to what is happening overall, specifically in the retail space, it's very comparable.
100%. You know, the retail sales, like they announced in the U.S. a couple of days ago, even Canadian retail sales were stronger than they've been, and that's simply just a factor of inflation more than likely, and plus people wanting to go out and spend some money. But when you look at things that are going to start affecting the bottom lines, that's where the concern is going to come, right? So you've got higher wages, you've got inflation, you've got some, you know, everyone's favorite term, supply chain issues. All those things start to hit the margins, and that's where the damage can occur.
Yeah. All right. So we'll run through a few names here when it comes to the major retail players on this side of the border. The other aspect here is summer is coming, and people want to get out. People need to, you know, see their friends, go see family, and that includes shopping, right?
Yeah.
So let's jump into a few names here that a lot of people will have heard of. Some of these will be dual listed, both in Canada and in the U.S. The first one, major player on the retail front, and that's Loblaw.
Yeah, so Loblaw is obviously for Canadians. It's a massive company across the grocery chain segment, across shoppers as well. Yesterday, you saw more volatility in that name simply because of everything that happened with the Targets and with the Walmarts of the world, Costco's, et cetera. So I think that sort of bifurcated into some of these Canadian names. So like a name like Loblaw's is at $110, but still swung 3% intraday. Still great, you know, that earnings per share of 5.5, PE of 21. Great numbers, but again, because of that volatility that occurred in the U.S., I think that sort of brought the aftershock to a large cap name like Loblaw.
And I mean, the chart not horrible yet.
Yeah.
I mean, potentially could go lower, obviously, but holding some decent levels. Empire, which is one on the grocery side of things.
Yeah, same thing. So it's Empire runs a few different grocery chains, including, pardon me, Sobeys. Trades around $40, $41. Has gone between 36 and 46 over the year. And again, you'll notice a 3-4% intraday trade yesterday. So it's a name that's dropped off simply because of where numbers are going to start to come in on the margin side. Yep. But inflation is going to carry the revenue numbers higher for some of these guys.
Big ugly red candles on a lot of these charts, as we saw in the U.S. yesterday. And then, you know, everyone's heard the name Canadian Tire, obviously, but, you know, one that, I mean, it's obviously on the retail side of things, but one that tends to hold up a little bit better than the rest.
Yeah, I remember we talked about Canadian Tire a few months back, and the numbers were just staggering because, you know, people were getting out spending money again. And you saw a lot of those things happening, whether it's home rental work, whether it was anything related to your sort of your homewares and things like that. So you saw those numbers start to creep up and creep up and creep up. Now, again, I think it's got the Walmart sort of adjunct to it that your retail sales are going to be great, more than likely, because of inflation, because of people just spending money. But where is that going to come into the margins, and how is that going to cut into the margins? And again, whether that's higher employee costs, getting goods in, and then the margins compressing.
And I mean, the story continues. Obviously, we're not anywhere close to getting over the hump when it comes to the overall effect in this group over time.
Yeah.
Dollarama, some of the moves in some of the dollar-related stores in the U.S. yesterday were unbelievable.
Yeah, so that's an interesting one. I mean, in theory, when times become like this, people will revert to going to, you know, look for cost-efficient places to spend their money. So a Dollarama, you know, there's been a lot of talk that people are going to go back to maybe a Dollarama because they know instead of buying a $12 widget, they can buy a $4 widget or a $3, now a $5 widget with which Dollarama has. So you're seeing that, but I think, again, it's going to be that same sort of thing going forward. Can Dollarama maintain its margins? Because that's really where its discipline is keeping razor fine margins and just being able to leverage its multiples off of its margins. So the retail sales will probably still continue. People will continue to go to Dollarama, but again, with supply chain issues are the biggest thing for them, just because of where they have to bring their goods in from. Can they get their goods in a timely fashion? How much are they paying their staff? So if it starts to erode into their margins, then you're going to start to see some issues. And I think you saw that yesterday. It was a bit of a drop off yesterday. It had a 10% bounce yesterday, which doesn't typically happen in a name like Dollarama.
Yeah, crazy moves.
Yeah.
If you have a sec today, go look at a chart of DLTR, go look at a chart of DG yesterday.
Yeah.
Both got absolutely crushed. One that we've mentioned on the show before, smaller name, obviously, recent addition, if I'm not correct, is Pesorama here in Toronto.
Yeah, so same sort of premise. Pesos, it's a smaller name, obviously. It's based out of Mexico, Mexico City dollar stores premise. And same sort of thing. They're going to be able to generate additional revenue. They're opening stores at a great clip. They came out, their last financing was at $1. They started trading around 70 cents, and it's trailed off quite significantly into the low 30s, mid 30s. So there might be an opportunity there as they continue to open more stores and take advantage of the fact that people are going out to spend money. So it's an interesting name to take a look at, something that's probably not on anyone's radar. So just thought bring that up.
Yeah, important time of year, obviously, for retail names right across the board heading into summer, obviously. And that includes also this weekend, which, as we said yesterday a little bit, we get this weekend in Canada is a long weekend. In the U.S., it'll be next weekend for Memorial Day. But that also means it's a big weekend again for horse racing. You are on the way out the door right now to head down to Baltimore for the Preakness.
That's right. It is my favorite time of year. Preakness is actually my favorite race out of the three. Coming off of what was a spectacular run, if you guys watched the Kentucky Derby. Rich Strike out of nowhere. Great run, great jockeying. 86-1 long shot. By post time, it was 80-1. Second longest long shot ever. But given the way he was running, shorter track at Preakness, more than likely people were expecting him to be held out, which is going to be the case. He may run in Belmont. So you're going to look back at two of the favorites from the Derby, Epicenter and Simplification. Epicenter's off at 6-5. Simplification's close to the rail. It's a shorter track, so you may want to look at horses that are close. And there was a horse called Secret Oath that was purposely held out of Derby for the Preakness. That's one that I'm keeping my eye on as well.
Interesting. Saturday afternoon.
Saturday afternoon.
Correct. Everyone should be watching. And I mean, we'll talk about it again. Rahim Alani, Managing Director of OCI Groups here in Toronto. We appreciate it, as always.
Anytime.
There we go, guys. A little bit of a look at the retail space here in Toronto.
Yeah,
who are these guys with their haircuts over there, first of all?
Well, let's not even, we can't get into Rahim.
We can't
always
compete.
Looking too fresh, too clean. There is no way to do it, but you know what? That's fine. Like, I don't mind it. Like, I'll always try to comparatively be rough around the edges because we're in the trenches, baby. That's what it's all about. We're not at the ivory.
We're gangster like that.
I was going to call it the ivory tower.
By the way, our shirts are like matching today. It's almost like we messaged each other.
No. They're literally not even.
No, I know, but I'm just saying on the camera.
It's so weird. Like the camera does things. Like it just, trust me. Like we'll look like we're wearing the same thing, and it's like a completely different shirt.
The camera adds like 70 pounds.
25 years. It adds gray hairs to your head, which aren't even there. Like, ask the guys in the back. Like, I don't even have any gray hair.
Yeah,
it's
neither
crazy.
do I.
It's so weird, but yeah, thank you to Rahim as always.
Yeah, and they show that we're balding. Great job there. You know, this Fahad guy, honestly.
We had a conversation about that shot.
It's a thin line here, this Fahad guy, but he's lucky we like him so much.
You know what's weird? I didn't realize that I was getting that spot until they kept doing the shot.
Yeah, well,
like,
it's the camera. You're not actually getting bald. Don't worry about it. Look, thanks to Rahim again. Look, OCI Group, great information there. I like Canadian Tire. I mean, I was actually even there this weekend. I think that, for me, that's the most interesting name out of all there. I like Loblaw. I like the fact that they also have a stake, own now Shoppers Drug Mart. Yeah. I think that's interesting as well. And Shoppers Drug Mart, again, a big pharmacy, I guess, here in Canada, if you guys aren't familiar, like a CVS type of thing. So, we wish Rahim well there. We know that he's, a horse racing fan. So awesome to be able to still, go down
do
there.
what you love,
I hope it's going to be good weather and so on and so forth. Didn't you see Lamar Jackson or something at some of these things? No, that was at a bar, I guess, in Baltimore. Maybe
that's
afterwards.
a little different.
Maybe we'll talk about that off camera.
I don't think Lamar Jackson is at.
You know what? Yeah,
the Kentucky
Drake
Derby.
and all those guys were at the last one. Actually, it's
Bring a lot of Ravens in.
yeah, it's become really popular.
Oh,
Yeah. All these sporting events. Now that Drake's posting like all his bets and everything online, so I'm sure he'll be there this week, and we'll say what's up to Raheem. I'm waiting for that picture of Raheem and Drake, chilling out together. That should be fun.
You mean Drake and Raheem?
Yeah, Drake and Raheem, of course. I mean, if
What's
Raheem's
this guy talking? What is he talking about?
If
Come on,
Raheem's
bro.
not too
I got you.
busy.
I got you.
If Raheem's not too busy, of course. But anyways, a bunch of good names there. We're going to have some fun today. If you're looking at the Canadian markets, those are, again, our retail's pretty strong here. Our unemployment rate's 5.3%, near record lows. So, and we didn't have the same kind of monetary situation there with the Fed in the United States. So, do some research there. I think there's a lot of good opportunities here north of the border, Brendan.
Yes,
All right, let's get into a few analyst moves this morning, guys. Some of the names we were talking about over the past couple of days on this board. Once again, here we go. Cisco, top of the list. Yeah, on the upgrade side, it's worth noting that there are moves in both directions, both up and down for Cisco today. Chevron there, Progressive, ExxonMobil, all to the upside. JD.com to the downside. We were talking a little bit about strength in the Chinese group earlier in the week. NVIDIA to the downside as well again today. There's Target and Tesla as well.
I mean, some days we sit there, we don't know any names on that board, right? And now we know all of those names on that board. I mean, ExxonMobil's over there, Tesla's there, NVIDIA has a downgrade as well. Target, I mean, keep piling on. That's why we talk about the 3-day rule on some of those plays, right? It's like we knew that you'd get price target cuts, you'd get earnings, you get all this re-rating, things like that coming through. So no surprise to see Target down there. And I mean, look, whatever, Cisco for some reason got an upgrade. I don't know about what that's all about. We're going to wait to see what happens there. I'm averaged into this one. Now 43.60. What's up to rolling records there?
I don't understand that.
JD as well. That was a name that I wanted to long on good earnings, I thought, not too long ago. And then they actually tanked there as well. So maybe the Chinese ADRs aren't getting the love. But Target got some love at the end of the day yesterday. And so that's the one thing that I wanted to briefly talk about. They made that bottom there at 155. They got tons of love when the market, guys, was going this way. So you got to watch out. Maybe there is some sort of a bottom made there on Target. I can call the daily chart for you guys. You know how disastrous that is. And as I said, you can go back, try to pick and choose levels, but realistically, we're just dealing in the moment here. And I don't want to look back 2 years ago and say, oh, well, 155 held then. I mean, none of those levels really to me matter. We're just going to look to see what the stock is doing right now. And we held 160 all morning here, despite the market continuing. Well, now it's kind of bouncing. The ES still down, though. The ES is moving the other way. ES down 1% right now as NASDAQ going up a little bit. But will Target hold 160? I don't think so. That's probably a good short here today into 160 using this 162 as a top. But if you think the other way around, flip the script, maybe you have a 162 break there, because if you look right there yesterday, this 162 was right into here. So it held in the pre-market before we got up, and we got short there 167, broke, and then right into here it held this 162 area again before finally breaking to the downside. So 162 is pretty key, and then we fast forward to today, and here's 162 again, coming into play yesterday, coming into play this morning. So maybe you have a little something on this level for TGT 162 if you're looking to short. Take it, but don't hold it too far past 1.6 deuce.
Yeah, and watch it like I was thinking about BJ's. Like if Target does catch a bit off of that level and gets back above 165, like I think BJ's is going to show you some strength as well. I think that's going to be key, that particular name. All I'm going to say about Tesla, you get the downgrade there. Does anybody think it's a coincidence that you had the ESG spat and then Elon's tweets actually referenced, Exxon specifically relative to Tesla and being on that list or not on those lists? And then, of course, you get a downgrade in one and an upgrade in the other the next day. I mean, like, I don't know. Like, could you make it any more obvious? Anyways, this campaign, that's going to start happening to Tesla, by the way. Like, you're going to get a lot of negative talk because of this. And they're already under a lot of pressure. The other side of that coin is you had a major shareholder I think it's like the self-proclaimed largest individual shareholder of Tesla, saying that they should be doing a buyback. Whether or not that happens, the board doesn't have to listen to every single person that says something, but this is a significant thing that could happen for Tesla. It's at that 700 mark, but yeah, it's just, I find that all interesting because you have one of the biggest oil companies, top 10 on an ESG list, and Tesla literally selling all the electrical vehicles that are out there, and they're not.
All right, let's get into the overall market here. We'll bring in Arun and get a check of the futures to see what we need to be aware of this morning. Brought to you by the Small Exchange. Once again today, they're making it easier to access future trading, no pattern day trading, less capital, guys. Get started today. Sign up at thesmallexchange.com. Arun, what a day yesterday turned out to be. What can we expect here today?
Yeah, yesterday was surprising to say the least. I mean, we had, 40.10 as the level, and then figured to get a slowdown there. No, as soon as they took that, it was gone. And we're kind of just extending that move into today, into overnight anyways. We bounced a little bit just before or just after 6 a.m., and then we fell off a little bit here, back down to the 80s. And I think the interesting thing to keep an eye on was the Philly Fed manufacturing number coming in surprisingly low. We'll see how this market wants to digest this, because on the face of it, the number is low, but it's all up to interpretation. These days, it's not just numbers bad, the market's going down, it's numbers bad. What does this mean for Fed and all these other links that you have to take into consideration? So this market is trying to bounce up a little bit off these 80s, although it did go down to the low 70s. It is bouncing back up a little bit. So we may see some buy-side activity. It's been a long sell-side move since yesterday, maybe some buy-side action today, but at the same time, as much as we bounce, as long as we don't bounce past 39.15 is what I've got. As long as we don't bounce past that, it's still on the short side. So if we bounce past that, then you got to wonder, hey, is this the double bottom with that 39.50 down below, and see if we can actually make a move to the upside after an extended move. Maybe there's a retracement play to be made, but only after we cross that level. Up until that point, this market is still trending to the sell side. We're down about 1%. On both of them, 0.92 on the NASDAQ though. We are heading to the downside, or at least overnight we are to the downside, bouncing up a little bit here as we bounce back to 82.75. 39.15 is going to be the upside resistance level. And then you have 38.50. Yeah, 38.50 is going to be your bottom from back on May the 12th. So it all comes down to how are we going to play? Are we going to catch enough support down in these 80s, into these 70s, and try to do a double bounce off that low from May the 12th, or are we actually going to try to take a shot at the lows here? And if we do take a shot at the lows, remember, we don't have any levels past that. That's the last of the support level. So if we get past that, we could open up some new levels, and maybe 3,800s in striking distance. Given the way this market's been moving, 50 points shouldn't be that far. But again, it all comes down to how this market wants to digest this manufacturing number after the open. I think we're going to have to wait and see and figure out what to do from that point on.
Great stuff. Thanks, Arun. We'll check back in again tomorrow. Let's get into the rest of what you need to know this morning, guys. If you haven't done so, make sure you grab the watch list we send out every single day for free, if you haven't heard that yet. All you need is your email address. That is the link. Miss V will help you out. Quickly, before we get into that, a note on AMD. I mean, it's not a huge deal, but AMD selecting Google Cloud to provide additional scale for chip design workloads. There was also a note on TSM. They're talking about building another manufacturing facility. So TSM, we'll talk about the chip stocks here, but worth a note that just popped up on a screen in front of me. So let's get into retail once again. Kohl's, the latest to come out with their report. I mean, more of the same here. Everything back to the downside after what has happened over the past couple of days.
Oh yeah, Kohl's. It's actually, Kohl's wasn't as bad as some of the other ones. I think that's actually worth mentioning here, because we said BJ's was good. Kohl's actually had a pretty interesting mixed result in the aftermarket, because at one point, like, it was booming, and a lot of this is a factor of what's been going on with the bets that are getting made. I think some options actions and heavy bets and volatility in the aftermarket. So you're getting crazy whipsaws, which don't necessarily reflect where this thing is going to go, guys. But it's all about these forecasts, and down the line, you're getting everybody sort of cut. On top of that, just keep in mind the backdrop of Kohl's is that for some time now, they have been sort of shopping themselves for a deal. The board may or may not have rejected a $64 deal, which that doesn't look very smart right now, but it happened, and now the stock is under a tremendous amount of pressure. I like two levels on this thing, and I don't know if we're going to see either one of them. 45, I think, is highly unlikely at this particular point. However, 42 does make some sense as a little bit of a rollover option here for coal. So it's a little whipsaw. But you do have what was support at the end of the session yesterday, possibly turning into resistance. I'd like to see it possibly trade up into that resistance before I go short. And resistance matters in a bear market. Obviously, it's a little more confident to be able to be short in front of it. I say that, and we still go long in front of bids. I'm not saying we don't do that, but in terms of when you come in and you see a level and it's yeah, I want to get into position right in front of it without seeing it, how it reacts there. I think it's usually to that short side, and that's what I'm leaning towards on coals at 42 here. Maybe not that bad of a report top and bottom, but it did come down to that forward guide, and everybody's afraid of that. But there is headline risk with coals, and that is, of course, that they are shopping themselves. If they were able to find a buyer at depressed prices, well, at any particular moment, this is one of those names that has been on that shopping block.
Look, I won't be trading coals today, so to be honest with you, I didn't look at it, so I don't have too much to say about that. But in the retail side, I've already talked about the name that I'll be looking at once again. We had a $10 winner yesterday, or a little less, 8.5 there on this target trade, and I think we'll try to do the same again here today. I don't know what kind of a winner we'll have, but meaning the short. And we talked about this 162 level. I like that level. You can also look at this 164 as being the very top here as you come in through. It's the second day. They caught some downgrades again. So for me, it's just looking at another name that should be in play one more time here today, and that's going to be Target. I mean, what a disaster this was all over the downside. And then I said about zooming out and finding some levels. Well, we held that 150. Obviously, if you're talking about some sort of an investment or something, I think you'd like to get it a little lower, like in that 150 to 140 area than where we are right now. But for a day trade, maybe there's going to be something here. It's going to look crazy. Look at a 20-minute chart. But again, that's the 164 right there. So we either take that out, and the reason why I'm thinking about a long on this name is because, yeah, it wasn't so bad. KSS isn't so bad today. BJ's isn't so bad. Walmart got hammered and might continue a little bit of a march back to the upside because it's its third day here today. So maybe some pressure will come off of that. And then there's the Target move that's got me a little shook here on possibly going long. From 155 there at 230 all the way up to 160. A monster move at the end of the day while the markets are going the other way. So again, there's a lot smarter people out there than I, and I'm just thinking, do they know something about Target where it was just beat down too far and maybe it needs to get bought back a little bit? So I'm still looking at that short, 162, 164 area for Target, but I wouldn't be surprised if it does break a little higher than that. Cisco's tanking, not tanking, but Cisco we've got a great trade on right there. And I just wanted to look at one more name, and I forget what it is, so we'll have to do that when we get back. But right now, Cisco, the best out that I have right here on that short is right here in the 30s. So it's coming back down right now. I have a bid just to make sure in the teens here. So if that comes back in here, we'll see about taking some out. But yeah, we had, decent sized position here as we averaged in 3 times against that sticky note level. And we want to talk about, again, our watch list. I think that's obviously super important to check out the watch list. And there it is right there. Just if you even were taking anything in the pre-market, there's Cisco 44. So you're in the money right now because my best fill was, I think, 80s or 90s. So there it is, Cisco. You're in the money already, 40, 50 cents on that short. The market might be on its way back northbound right here. So just watch out for some of these plays. If the market rallies, you don't want to be short any of these tech names. So this is an interesting play right here. I'm figuring out, how far we want to hold this play. Cisco. See, here it goes right back upside. So in that 30s has to be looked at again if we ever come back in. So let's put some more bids there.
Yeah, the market trying to get a move back to the upside going here, including some of the tech names. Let's get into big tech here. Big moves for these yesterday, but we're trying to hold, as you mentioned early on there, Sean. Microsoft around this 250 area. I mean, yeah, it's down, but looking like it might want to lead back higher right now.
Oh, there's so many of these. It's just, and we're having this conversation. It feels like every single day, and 250 on Microsoft is going to stand out. It was already a trade last week. History is just repeating itself. Like I said, the NASDAQ is basically putting these levels in. So anything that was on big support last week towards the middle of the week or the end of the week is going to be right there again. So that's the only level I'm watching on Microsoft. I mean, we'd have to really rally to get to a significant resistance level. Half that chart's missing. To get to a significant resistance level like $8. Well, I guess $5 from here up to 258, but it's going to be that 250. Like, that's all I'm looking at for Microsoft. Will I try to go long in front of it? Yeah, I mean, if there's a bid there, you probably do that scalp long, but that's a break that's pretty significant. In big tech, also, NVIDIA was a short yesterday. It's relatively weak. I like NVIDIA to the short again today, but you are so far away from that top end of the channel that, you know, it's not like this is not like a sit in front of a brick wall like it was yesterday when it tried to break up. However, it is still sort of midway towards that support from last week. So unlike Microsoft, it's holding up a little higher like the rest of the space. I want to be shorting into the 170 to 171 area on NVIDIA. But wowzers. I mean, you could throw Amazon 2000 on that list. I have an alert set for that. It's not quite, I don't think it's as close, but that comes into play. That's just as big as Softy 250.
Yeah, so I mean, Microsoft's probably my #1 stock since we've been doing the show, so I'll be all over that one. And yeah, the 250, you go long in front of it. It's just one of those easy trades that we'll look to make. Kind of like AMD yesterday at 100 before it broke. So the same thing is true for Microsoft. When it breaks 250 to the downside, you don't hold that long. You get out and you go short. We'll be looking to do that. It was a very, very similar play to Apple 150. I mean, if you guys remember, I don't know if Apple 150 is even going to show up on this chart, but maybe I can go to the 20-minute here. Once we, if it holds, there it is. Now 150's been holding, but if you look back, when we broke 150, there was really nothing standing in the way. It's right here. So, and it was even midday when this happened, right? And so here's Apple taking down 150, and then it closes the day that day 146-ish. So that's a $4 move to the downside. Now this is 250, and there goes Cisco. So let's go, man. Nice little move downside for Cisco there, as that's getting down into the 20s now. So that's going to be a good move for me there, as we're already banking. We might be near first day's goal here, and the market's not even open. Okay, AMD 93. I mean, this is going to be another one of those levels where I'm going to defend it. I've already got bids sitting here, man, like 93, 94. Let's see if we can get some longs down here on Cisco. We've absolutely annihilated this stock the last couple of days. We'll throw some grenades around for this kind of the damage that we've done on Cisco. It's like, Cisco is just been an absolutely dream of a trade for me the last couple days, including we got longs every single morning at these bottoms, and then it's ripped up, and then yesterday it tanked back down in. But some of these longs off the open, there's another open right there, has been oh, my trades are showing up for some reason here. Like, I mean, there we go. Like, and again, I'm here to be as honest as I can with everybody. Like, I just zoomed back a couple days ago. I said long off the bottom. Like, there's another long there at 93. We'll look to do that again today. That's a 93.30 long that we had this day, May 16th. Maybe my trades will show up. There it is again. Look at these longs I had on AMD. Bang, 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 all the way to the upside again, right? Yesterday, boom, 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 right there. That's the close, sorry. And then here's yesterday's long, again off the open, right? And then again, look at these, out, 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 before dropping back in. Tried to test the long here in the afternoon, it was fine. AMD has been absolutely destroyed. I love trading this name, and we're gonna be on it again today. So hopefully you guys are following at Trader TV Show on the sticky notes there. We have AMD written down. AMD has been a good name for me. So despite, the volatility, that's what I like in the name. So, if you're unable to hold something a little longer, AMD and some of these big cap techs might not be for you. But again, there's also the scalp that's involved. Like, I don't hold it for that $7, $8 winner. I'll try to keep on 10, 20%, but there's been scalpable opportunities in this. Watch the NASDAQ now about to turn positive. I get the feels here. Like, that's a nice move, man. We've already made back more than half. We were down 1.2% there when Raheem was on. Now it's a nice move back up to the upside here. Maybe Tony's come in and bought this market. Who knows? There's the imbalance locator. Let's just have a quick look at that. Very, very mixed today. Macy's to the downside. Oxy with oil, that makes sense. Oil down 3% today. BP with the sell. Again, Marathon with the sell. Yes, makes sense. Look at these tech names starting to rally. Neo with the sell. I don't know. That doesn't make much sense to me. XOM is there as well. Ford, there's news. Target's a buy, ladies and gentlemen, down there. So, yeah, hopefully this is going to be another big day, but with only 16 minutes now left here. Brendan, still a few names we need to cover.
Great note on Apple here from Bank of America, guys. Price target cut to 200 from 215, so worthy of a note for Apple. Also, this just came out. Neurometrics, big move right now. FDA nod for a wearable device. So this NURO just popped up through 450, which is huge over on the daily chart. Let's talk a little bit about Cisco here. As we mentioned, yeah, not good to the downside. Ugly report and forecast for CSCO. A lot of people just joining here. What do we need to know for Cisco?
Well, you need to know that that's a company that is, like Sean said, it's a legacy name, and it's down SSR 10%. And it's really more about the atmosphere going forward. Highly cyclical. You have the issues going on in China, of course. It's not a good look. And this is one of these names where you've just fallen off an absolute cliff, which makes it sort of difficult to judge levels. And you're going all the way back to some, I guess, post-pandemic support. And 44 was the only thing that sort of stood out. And it's not a resistance level, it's a support level. But ultimately, you come down here and you're essentially barcoding off of this level over and over again. My target entry was 43.50 to 44. That was the entry that we liked. I grabbed it in here as well, and I think we're both looking at the same thing. If the market is going to be weak today and down, if the market is, let's put it the other way. If the market is going to go up and we're going to get a strong day in the rally in tech, is someone buying Apple in front of a double bottom at 139? Is someone buying Microsoft in front of a 250 level? Is someone buying, I'm not even going to say Amazon, or some of the other chip names out there? Or are they going to look to Cisco after disappointing guidance, after it just broke major support, if they're looking to say maybe average into it? I don't think it's going to be at the top of people's list, except for I think it was KMI or whoever it was that gave them the upgrade. Maybe they'll be buying today. I doubt it. So I just kind of feel like it's not the low-hanging fruit, but it gives you a level of entry here to the downside. And if it's an up day, fantastic, great. It breaks at 44. If it sees 48, I'm probably back short again anyways. Because I just don't see a way that this is closing anywhere near to green on the session today. It's possible. Anything is possible in this world. But I'm just not really seeing it for Cisco. Not with the guide that they put in. Not with more appealing buys out there in this type of market. Like if you believe we're in a bear market, which I believe so, and that the rest of the year is not going to be the easiest for trading, day one after this earnings disappointment or the guidance disappointment for Cisco is not the first place I think people are looking to defend. I think there are prices people might do that, probably closer to $40 even, but I'm not seeing it here. That's why I like the short.
Yeah, I like the short, but not as much as I did. It is the number one name on the sticky note. We did short 44, exactly as we stated before that we'd like to do. So right there, look at that. We actually have a 43.90 fill. So it's on the sticky note as a 44 short. Like Neil just mentioned, man, they cut guidance, they miss on revenues. It's all here on the sticky note as my number one name. You know what? I mean, like, if this market pulls back, yeah, we're going to get these 42s, 43 levels here for Cisco. So we're just going to hold out and hold out to see if that comes through. If it doesn't, we're going to get out, man. This breaks through 44. We give it a little bit more room, and we just get out of Cisco. I'm not married to this stock. I don't have any reason to be in it if it's going to go up. And then if it continues to accelerate to the upside, really no levels. I mean, it's not going to go positive today, so I'm not even worried about that 48. But, yeah, like, if it wants to get up there, then fine, we'll short it. This is a name that I'm going to have on my short list of stocks to look at today. I'm really specific on what I want. This month has been an absolute monster for me, and we've been trading a lot of the same names, so we're going to continue to do that. Cisco's not a name that I normally trade, but we trade price action, and I'm up on it today so far. Hopefully that continues, and hopefully the move is down. So we'll just wait for Cisco right now. Hopefully makes a move to the downside, but I don't know. I'm not as confident. I'm a little surprised it's holding up here, but the market's going to tell us what to do. As soon as we open up, we're probably going to get another test of that 44, and then we'll just see what happens. Maybe your out's 44.50, 45. We'll probably get out a little bit earlier than that. But hey, if you're looking for something to short today, there's a lot of names. I mean, I have a few of them on here. We're actually in Lucid. We haven't even talked about Lucid yet. But yeah, Microsoft through that 250 is a very, very interesting short for me. I know we've already talked about some big cap tech, but that's a level here. Although I've loved Softy, and I really, really am buying these dips. Like, I haven't bought any recently. This is going to be one of the names that's going to be on my watch list to pick up. But that 250 that held back on the 12th was monster because it held and went back to 265. Let's see if it holds again today. So we'll be long ahead of 250, starting with, I have bids right now in that 250 area. I'm actually waiting for it to come down. I'm not going anything earlier than 250. Let's let the market settle down. If it gives us a bottom of 252, 251, then we'll play that, because with the kind of share size that I'm willing to use, I don't need to make big plays off the open. I can let things settle down and then put out some real positions, some size that I believe in once something's developed. So for me, it's Microsoft through 250, but I have to get long first, right? So we'll be long in front of 250. It's just like that Tesla trade yesterday that Neil and I both had. Long through, now 703 came back, up again. So I don't know if the trade is, there it is right here. So here's me defending yesterday, 700. And where did we do it? At 703 twice. First out 708, next out 710, and then unfortunately we got out. We couldn't hold it through the 350 number, out at 706. So a couple good trades there in front of 700. That's the kind of stuff we're looking for, Brendan, on Microsoft in front of 250.
All right, here's a note on Lucid. If anyone missed it this morning, officially taking the wraps off this Saudi Arabia facility. A couple of things to know: 155,000 unit capacity for this. They also signed a new financing or funding deal with a group in Saudi Arabia, which will see them get 3.4 billion over, or potentially get 3.4 billion over the next 15 years. So finally, a little bit more positivity, but 155,000 capacity on that is pretty good for Lucid.
Yeah, like seeing real numbers, and it's not taking a dig at anybody else. It's just seeing real numbers on production is kind of what you're looking for the other names in the space. And if you're not Tesla, then you're an other name in the electrical vehicle space. My only issue with Lucid is there's room on either end, but there's two things I really, really like on this chart, and I think they're going to stand out: 17, 1850. So obviously, if it gets to this 1850 level, I kind of think maybe this is a catalyst that can do it. If it is, that's a shortable level. I think a bigger break is when it can get through that price, and it had a very similar look to it. If you can kind of see, it had a similar look to it previous weeks when it was in this 18 to 1950 range, that same $1.50 range. And if I look back at some of the trades that would have been the best, it was shorting off the highs and then being patient off of some of those lows. So that's what I want to try to do with Lucid. I mean, that 17 stands out. Like I said, 1850, if it gets there in this market, resistance has proven pretty valid. So I'm not going to do anything until we get to those peripheries, which could happen. I mean, that bid could come certainly at the open. And you can see underneath 17, well, there's not a heck of a lot underneath the level of 17.
Look, for me, it's just easy. 17 is a long. I like the story here today, so I'm long right now, and that's about as easy as it can get. We're long Lucid. We're in the money 5 cents right now. It's nothing. I'm going to try to get something out at 1780 when it rips up there. I'm pretty confident this stock's going to go. So I like Lucid here. That's why I'm in this name one more time. You haven't seen me in Lucid in months, but we're in it now. We'll see. This was a mistake. This was a mistake getting out for the same price I got in at. So right now we're in this name. We're going to see this rock and roll to the upside. This is the name that I like today, to the long. Early. I don't even care about any levels. I already have my level down here at 17. So just like Arun says, play the levels, man. The news is in here. I'm long on Lucid. And if I lose on this, I lose on this. Hey, man, I'm here to rock and roll. And that's going to be a trade that I'm going to make 10 times out of 10. So Lucid down here to 17. Great production targets there. Look, the Saudis own, I don't know, what is it, 18% or something of Lucid. And they're literally going to buy up every single Lucid car that comes to market. So, I mean, I feel like Lucid's strong right now. I don't know, where we go from here. There is, clear sailing if you break 17, man. I mean, if you break it, then you're down here to 16, 15, 50, something like that. I believe there's going to be traders defending this 17 level. So for me, hey, Lucid's along until it breaks 17, and at one point today, you're going to hear me say, I wish I had more Lucid shares, because I really feel like this is a name that's going to go today. So yeah, I agree, man. Lucid, Neo's a good trade as well. I don't know about Rivian. I haven't looked at that in a bit, even though Rivian's a name that I normally like. Tesla's back above 700 right now. The market's trying to get back up to Greensville here. Let's see if it can go to 12,000 today. That would be really nice. You're at 11.8 right here. So, I mean, the NASDAQ can do that in a heartbeat. So we'll see what happens off the open. We're already in the money on Lucid. My first target is this 1780. I'm just going to make sure I do have, I have an order right there. So that's the daily chart. Where's my minute? There it is right here. 1780. Just, you know, some areas yesterday. I mean, I don't really have a target to the upside, but we'll see if we can crack even higher, maybe 1850. Yesterday's high, it was a good level. So let's go here. Lucid, willing to die on this through 17.
Tesla on the way back higher, as we saw there, took back 700 already, trying to hold, in fact, as support after breaking all kinds of key levels on the daily chart yesterday to the downside. I mean, there's the ESG note, nothing new today. There's the ESG note, new investigation into some of the crashes that have occurred over in California, but looking a little more positive right now for Tesla.
Yeah, I mean, it's almost green, which it's a good sign. I mean, we opened up with the possibility that 700 would be in the rear view in the other direction, which thankfully, you know, for shareholders, I guess hasn't happened. But like, it's gonna, you know, the downgrade, the ESG thing, it's probably not gonna go away. You have to buckle up and hear that probably for the next few weeks, and that'll weigh on the stock, because truth of the matter is people are investing more with that as their guideline. So you have to take that with a grain of salt. I think 720, which yesterday had a lot of trouble, and that bounce, remember the bounce of 700? Like, I had a lot of trouble getting past, you know, 10 to 15. The 20 mark is where I think you have the actual resistance, and I think the support's really sitting at that 680 bottom. So you're kind of diddling in the middle at 700, which is why you're either bouncing, scalping off that level, or almost doing a little bit of nothing there. So you're going to see me try to sit out Tesla at the open and be far more interested in playing off of the 720, maybe even 725, or those 680 levels to the downside. So I want to be very, very patient with Tesla. There's no need to rush into any trades for myself. But it is definitely one that I've traded the last couple of days, and I'm not going to shy away from it. I actually did look at Rivian, and I kind of liked a few levels there, but nothing really stood out. So while we're talking about it, like, if it gets back up to 29, that's a significant level. But you can see, like, this lower high at 28 is being tested right now, and it's showing some serious relative strength, which is why I think you're really waiting for 29.30, and it's got good support at 26.5. So again, this is another name diddling in the middle. So I'm not really involved in Rivian today at the open.
Brendan, at the big screen, small cap recap.
I don't know if he's ready. I don't know. I have no idea
Look at Neurometrics. As we said, FDA approval for that wearable device. They've been talking about this for months and months and months. So positive, huge move already. Obviously, a couple things to know. This is 450, which is the top end of that last consolidation on the daily chart. 7 million float on NURO. Has room to 550. This is the next kind of leg to the upside for NURO. So tiny float, positive news, maybe along, guys.
Yeah, well, look, the low floaters, they're abundant, and we already, like, I'll get to SIGA in a second if it makes a secondary run, but that fell off of $10 pretty heavily. I am looking at a little bit of Neuro, but there's also this INDP, which another one of these names. It popped up, got to 350. It's also now starting to fail. If this one can get back like halfway, I'm looking 320, 325-ish area, like the lower high for just sort of short the pop off of the open on this INDP. And it'll be very similar with SIGA. Like, if that can make the similar move, that's what I want to do too. But that failed at $10. You can sort of see it. Now, if you're watching it, it's now down below like $8. I'm looking for $8.25 on that in particular. One that we talked about a lot of retail names, and I neglected to mention Macy's. Macy's is yet to report their earnings. Yesterday it was $20, which was resistance. Today I'm looking at the $19 level that we closed at yesterday. If we can short that one, we'll try to get that off of the open. Obviously, this entire space is kind of like one of those like short till it isn't. And yeah, as quickly as we're maybe heading back to the upside, at least attempting to, a little bit of a slight pullback here. You know, Apple back below that 140 mark as we head towards the open with only 2 minutes to go here.
Ooh, baby. There it is. Definitely not hearing that. There, I'm sure it's out there. Look at Cisco, man. We just got a beautiful two fills down here at 42.90. We're short $1 in the money now well, now it's rocking. Now it's going back up to the upside. But we're almost out, man. Like I said, we took a good position up here when we averaged into it. So, hey, man, we're going to get close to, I mean, I don't know the last time I hit a daily goal in the pre-market, but we're pretty darn close with this right now. And there it is again. Let's drop the money down. We're going to go deuces right now, 2 for 2 as Lucid. And I just tweeted it out. I just said when this was down here that I really liked this long, man. I liked it more than I thought here on Lucid. So we're in there at 48. We're out some there at 70 as it's going to the upside right now. Let's see where we go from here. I have an offer at 80. So we're 70 cents in the money on Cisco, 30 cents in the money on Lucid. Now it's come back in, but we're 30 cents in the money on Lucid. So let's wait to see where this stuff all goes, man. We're ready to rock and roll today. Already really happy with the day, but this is nothing. Who cares what's happening right now? We want bigger and badder. We put down 97 for an AMD break. We put that down when it was at 94, by the way. Now the market's starting to rally back to the upside. I said we probably test green, and damn you, AMD. We wanted this 97 break like crazy, but unfortunately, it was going to be my max position to tell you guys that, but I'm not going to put it on right now. I don't want to take it as we get ready to open up. Too much can happen here off the open, but now we got to look at some AMD levels again, man. Maybe 95 now as a level to support instead of that 94. This is taken off just as expected, man. We love some AMD around here. It's just too bad that I didn't get long earlier when I wrote the damn sticky note. But yeah, $94. Wow. AMD rocking and rolling with only 10 seconds left.
Under that now, Ms. V is in the green. Here we go. It is actually 3, 2, and 1. Ring it. So that little bounce actually bringing Coinbase up to 3%. It's at this 65 mark. Pretty big line in the sand there for Coinbase. I just got NVIDIA, however. We talked about shorting a pop in NVIDIA. I just got the 170s. Remember that channel 170 to 171 that I like on NVIDIA. We'll see what happens as the market trying to get back to the upside. Tesla holding above 705 as this market looking pretty strong so far to start the day, but not Cisco, however. That's still diddling.
Yeah, it's going into the downside here, a little more than diddling right now. We just took $1.20 there. We got out at 42.60 there on Cisco. Very, very light piece left. And the trade that I liked out of everything there, looky here. Looky Lucid to the upside right here. We're long at 17.50 as there goes Lucid. Just tested. Let's put an offer there, man. It just went to 18 and then came back in. So, yeah, I don't know what's up with that. Okay, here we go. This could give us a good reload opportunity on Lucid. We got some out at 17.80. I mean, that's what we wanted to do. We don't have a huge position here on this name. We had way more shares in Cisco because we're able to average into it. But there goes Lucid back up to the upside. We're going to try to get this out. I just put an offer right there in the 90s. So if that can go, that'd be great for that name. And then good out for me on Cisco, man. We've got some out in the 90s. We've got some out here in the 60s. And that's starting to retrace back up to the upside. So watch out for your Cisco trades. But other than that, man, the market's coming back in. So we're going to have to try to maybe possibly look for a short here. But the market's still above on the 50 period. So I like the long, just trying to figure out which ones are the best for me today.
Brendan brought you this Neuro. I just got out of NVIDIA looking to get back into it, but that was whipsaw action, so stop did trigger. Neuro 470 was a monster level on the daily chart. I just tried, I can't even get shorts at 450. Tried 455s as well, but I don't want to chase this too far. That was an open rejection of that level. You get a wick off top, and now you're falling back beneath. At 9:30, that is the play that I'm going to have, or at least attempt to have almost every single time we do get it. So I don't want to chase too far. We'll see if we can catch that. Tesla did give the pop to potentially short, but it only got to 710. I was looking 715, 720 on Tesla. Obviously, with the market going here, that's going to mean no 250 as yet on Microsoft, but 258 to the upside. Potential resistance on Softy could come into play. And the one that we talked about on the retail end of it, Macy's, thinking that pop would give you a bit of a fade, just on the offer in front of 19. There we go. Actually just got the fill just now. So this is the first level I like on Macy's. They have yet to report. Remember, Macy's, one of the last retailers, I don't want to say the last, but one of the last retailers to give their report. That should be today, I believe. I think.
Early strength, guys, for some of the Chinese names. Pinduoduo just went 39.5 to 41 on a huge volume spike here, up 4% so far for PDD.
All
What's
right.
Bob doing?
Yeah, Pinduoduo. What is this? Yeah, actually, we saw JD. People want to talk to us about JD earlier as well. Yeah, we're long now. I got to turn off Brendan. I hear something in my ear there again, guys. All right, so AMD, we reloaded it. We're long at 97.04 right now. Hopefully that can get up to the upside. This is not the big position that I was talking about. We wanted it when it broke through 97, but not earlier. Excuse me. I feel completely fine. It's like there's something stuck in my throat here. Okay, AMD now 93. Where's my out? I don't even have an offer yet. 97.55. So right now, AMD in the money, 50 cents. We're long at 97. We talked about why we like that level. But again, I would prefer, like we've had the long here the last couple of days, and it's been good. But like I really would prefer something near this 96. So we're going to average in. If it comes down to 96.50, we'll take it. But again, we won't be in this name for a long time if it does break, because I'm going to put on a position. So watch out for a breakthrough of like 96 bucks to the downside. If it fails, we want to get out of that. So we're not like completely in love with this long right now. Would be much, much better if it came in a little bit for us. Obviously, I'd like it to go up. I mean, I'm in the trade right now, but if it does come in, we want to reload it into this 96 area for AMD. Oh, okay. I don't know if you're noticing this either, Neil, but Cisco just went again upside there.
Yep, it just retested.
Yeah, just retested, and we got more shares into that short. So, sorry, there's Cisco right there. We averaged into that short. So now, I mean, I might just start getting this out for dimes right here. There it is. So we took some out at 81 there. We're short flat at 90 right now. So if we can come back in, I'm sitting in the 70s here. So I don't have to worry about any of those trades. I've already got it out. Now we're back short 90 right now. So that's why we got that average price in for this trade. And there goes AMD Tesla as well. And there goes Tesla to the downside, I assume.
No, well, give me a break. I just saw size on 700 not break, and I just got triggered out of my long. That seems like fugazi. That was fugazi. Like there's a dark pool print, but I saw 20,000 shares on the bid still at 700 that never broke, and I got triggered out of my long. So I'm gonna jump back in, and I'm gonna get a little bit more. Let's just get a little tighter here. Yeah, now it's gonna go. So the first time.
Yeah. Okay, go
ahead. Did
it
actually break?
Yeah, E-Signal had a bottom of 69.04 or something.
Yeah, but the size never broke on the bid, so I'm gonna see if I can give it a little bit further. I'll maybe give it an extra $1 on the stop. But anyways, that was Tesla there. I did jump back into the trade because I felt it was a bad trigger. Now it looks like it could have put in a wick off bottom.
Yeah,
there.
This could be good. This could be good.
If it put in a wick off bottom, I still want to scalp some of it out, but I'm just sort of. It's not thinking out loud, but I'm just letting you guys know what I saw. I never saw that bid go away, so someone was a buyer down there. I still think 715 to 710 is going to be a little bit of resistance on Tesla if we get back up there, but that's a wick off bottom at 700. If the market's going up, this can be a good one. It does mean take a hit on NVIDIA and maybe, well, we'll see what happens with Cisco. Oh. It feels like it's going to be a hit, but you know what? It hasn't broken that 44 just yet.
Let's go. Spin that shit right now. Even Sharif back there knows what's good. Look at this trade on AMD. I just told you 96.50. That's where we're long. We're in the money now, 80 cents on some big boys. So here we go. Upside right now for AMD, man. Wow. I always say we got to add some more zeros on these shares, but there it is. Another move for AMD. We're on one again. 2 times daily goal met already here. Cisco to the downside. We have this trade on. We have Lucid to the upside. We're 3 for 3 right now. So there it is, man. Let's go to the upside. AMD now. Wow, we're just starting to cash some out here as this was a monster move down to 96.50. So remember, we were getting long 96.50. Where was my out? 96 break. That's 50 cents worth of risk. It's now in the money 90 cents. So that's a 2-to-1 ratio right now. So your boy's going to take that out pretty much every time. We're trying to hold a little bit, though, for this move. The market's starting to go back upside. And remember when we were down 1% where I said the market was going? Greensville. So, I mean, there it is, man. I might just start to trade these futures. This is starting to really get exciting. Wow, there it is. AMD to the upside. Cisco, Lucid, man. We popping off, Neil. I hope that Tesla's ripping as well. I don't hope it is. I see what's happening over there. Good trade.
Yeah, it's still 13. I still say, you know that level from yesterday. Like if we can't get past that resistance, I want to see resistance broken before I'm actually excited about the long trade at this particular point. So yeah, it's in the money. I don't want to count those eggs before they've hatched. Now look at what Cisco looks like if you zoom in on the chart, right? Like you've got a series of higher lows, and that 44, if it breaks, like if you're not stopping out on a short here above this 44 area, you can see what could happen, which is the jailbreak to the long. I'm trying not to, like I'm not ignoring the small cap, but I'm just kind of ignoring them. One of them is SIGA, sorry. That tried to get off the hump at one point at the open. It tried to make a spike. I'd have shorted 940 if I could. I'm now literally just sitting on the bid in front of 8. That feels like it's dead. Neuro, which I was telling you, that's the one I wanted in the 50s. I still might be able to get this with a 75 stop. But it's starting to die pretty heavily as well. So the small cap's coming down, the big cap's going to the upside. Remember the aforementioned Rivian? It's on its way to that, remember the 29 level, pretty big on that 15-minute chart. Like as we get up there, that's the only level I think is worth fading. It never really gave you the support. That wick off the open looks a little bit suspect. There's been a lot of those dark pool wicks lately.
Yeah, oh yeah, you've seen our charts have been a nightmare. Look at Lucid though, man. We can't spin the money thing again, can we? We'll just go catapult one more time. Lucid, we're long at 1750, man. It's at 1805 right now as that's starting to go. Okay, so the one thing that's bothering me a little bit here, we have gotten out now of a little bit, probably too much here of our AMD. We're out of about 70% of it. So we still have 30% of this trade, but I can't be upset with where we've gotten out. We've gotten out the majority of these at the 40 level here at 97. So our best out though was 97.60. Here it comes back in. I'm going to take one more piece out here at 10. There it is. We just got that out at 10. Just a little nervous. We don't need to be holding this. Excuse me again. We don't need to be holding this too much, especially if the NASDAQ's going to retrace. We already have the monster Cisco short on right now, again off the reload. So I mean, look at that out that we had early. 42.60. You kidding me? That was $1. That's $1.30 right there on Cisco to the short side. There it is again. Bang, man, on Cisco. We just got a 30 print. That's 60 more cents now on Cisco. And then also, we're looking, I do have an offer, if you guys are wondering, in the 20s now for Lucid to the upside. So let's just let this thing climb. And again, what I tweeted, not like how long ago, if you have to follow me at TraderTV Sean, you don't have to do anything. Do whatever you want, to be honest with you. But right here, we just tweeted it attached to the sticky note. And I said, if I can find it, which I can't, I said, I really like this Lucid long. So hopefully, that was a good enough indicator right there. And there goes AMD. And you guys remember, I didn't want to punch the 97 long. Why not? It's at 98. So here we go. We're long 96.56. We're rocking and rolling. 2.5 times daily goal now, Matt. Let's just keep on going to the upside. Cisco 50 cents, Lucid 50 cents, AMD $1.30. Let's go.
The apes out there will be probably happy, but I just see someone put in there that AMC and GME are trying to go. I'm always looking at GME if it tries to go to the upside. If it gets past 94, that's when it gets pretty interesting. Forget about first levels on the stock. Like, talk about when it breaks the second level and then tries to get up to the 95 to 98 range. That's what I'm going to be concerned about. I took some of my Cisco out as well. I'm watching 256 on Softy, about $2 away from its major resistance. Coinbase at the open. By the way, I did get into Kohl's finally, so that finally came into play. Coinbase was one we were watching at the open. Bitcoin still is not moving, but Coinbase load actually is getting a bit of a jailbreak. This died at around $70, but if you look at the size of the range when it takes out that 70, you have to give it a little bit of room. So as Coinbase gets higher, I still like the 70 level for a fade, but I'm going to give it some time to be able to get into that particular price. Tesla is holding above 710, so it feels right now, it feels right now like it's in the midst of that potential jailbreak. Need to see it put in a higher low. Like, forget about holding $7. I want to see this start holding 705, then hold 710, and then we can really start jailbreaking to the upside. But am I reloading off 700? Yeah, that's a good level. The size I saw in the bid, as far as I'm concerned, like I saw like 20,000 shares in the bid. Either it got filled super fast and reloaded, but either way that level is held, so we're going to keep playing it until it breaks. At some point, it holds an offer below, and it is going to be a short, but not yet.
Oh, man, we're trying to get out of Cisco right now at 43 flat. What's up, Brendo?
Quickly, guys, Upstart downside. Wall Street Journal on a negative note on UPST. So a big flush here, 50 down to 45. This one's been strong over the past couple of days. Also, Grab Holdings up on a good report. Food delivery name, 12, almost 13%, guys, for Grab.
All right. Kraft was that?
Grab. It's Grab.
Oh, Grab. I think it's a Kraft. Okay. Right now, man, we got that Cisco fill down there, man. That's 90 cents right there on the Cisco reload that we've had multiple times. I'm just talking with Trader Prad here, man. And yeah, we're talking about some of these levels. And today, they've really held out fantastic here on some of these plays, man. I missed the Tesla trade. I wish I was in that one. Glad Neil has that. But, the damage has been done for me here on AMD, back up to the upside with $1 plus in the money on that trade, 80 cents in the money on Cisco. Let's go over to some of these other plays, man. Facebook. So Facebook is a name that I really liked this morning, but the problem is it was pretty weak there. Oh, that's the daily. That's the 1 minute. That's the 1 minute. Okay, yeah. So that's right. I was looking down here and seeing these months, but it's looking down here. I don't know what happened off the open. That's why I went away from it. It went all the way down to 189 off the open there, like on a crazy dump for them. And that was real because I was watching it like, do I want to pick this up or do I want to go over to AMD? It looks like that was the right one, but again, it didn't come into any levels for me here, Facebook. So I'm not super excited about that. That one, I mean, if you were using the pre-market of 190, then that was great. But Facebook's really been a sort of a tough nut to crack for me. Not recently. I mean, Facebook might be my #1 stock this month. Microsoft all time. But it's Facebook or AMD this month for me, for sure. You've seen those AMD calls, and I mean, we're just banking on AMD right now again here today. But here, these are some of the levels I was looking at. Obviously, I wrote down 186 on the sticky note. That's about as clear as day right there. But now I'm wondering about that 189 wick bottom. We could probably play off that if the market continues to make a move down. Let's watch for 189 here on FB. We just, as I was talking, we just had an opportunity there to probably reload that AMD, and I missed it. So I saw that out of the corner of my eye. AMD just came back to 97 VWAP. That was a good reload opportunity.
So we'll do this one. It'll be case closed on Sega. It just hit 850. Well, it broke 850. It just got to 840. So that failure at 10, like right off the bat in the morning show, like it was making that move right when we came on. It failed at $10. Now retracing all the way back to 8 even, still up 13%. So, I mean, there's people obviously that are still in the money on this name, but you know, obviously as quickly as they go up, we talk about this. And I'm talking about these low float type names. When they start to head to the downside, they tend to crater a little bit. Kohl's, we got that short in front of 43 there. I just took some out in front of 42 even. Love that number. It's not that it was all bad. It wasn't all bad with their report, but it's just that retail space still down 3%, but showing some signs of strength. So getting some of this out on the way down is going to make a lot of sense. I think it's in trouble below 40, but you know, I'm not completely convinced that we're going to get there for now. And I say for now in sort of not air quotes, but if you look at what just happened on the NASDAQ in particular, the ES similar at 39, but the NASDAQ just put in a breakout into morning high, like early morning highs, and then came right back in to consolidate. So you do have a bit of a wick off top going on, and that's the reason why there's at least some caution. That's why you see Tesla come right back to me at 7. Well, it's not at 700 just yet, but it's very, very close. So, you know, some of the shorts that are working right now, you want to make sure you're taking some profit, but there was a bit of a wick off top there. So 700 coming right back into play on Tesla. Couldn't quite get up to that 720 where I'm actually sitting on the offer. Going to check back in on Softy. It's still at 253, so 250 not on target just yet.
Okay, boom, about to go the dynamite here as AMD coming back down. So right now we're still positive on the name. Everything's all good, but we do have a move to the downside here on advanced micro devices here coming back in. So we're long right here right now at 15. Let's take a little bit off. Hopefully this can start to fly back up into the 40s, into the 50s. My average price right now is 12 here on AMD. So it's not looking too good. If we break too much lower on this name, then we got to get out. Why did we just get out there? I don't know. I got to get some more here. That was a mistake for sure, getting out there on that AMD. I thought I had a different price target on that. Did that break down? Maybe it broke down below there. I thought I was waiting for a little lower. We're going to get back into AMD there. So I think I might have just had the same thing happen on me there, but there it goes to the downside. We just got back in. Like, if we get executed out that we don't mean to, you know,
jump in.
You just jump right back in. So we just jumped right back in there on AMD. So, hey, it still could fly to the downside. We're looking at that 95.50 here. That's the level that I thought I written down, but I guess we got out a little bit there at 96. But here it comes. Should have got out now. There it is. So we just take a piece out there as it flies back down in. So there it is. Cratering right now in the market. We're still fine, man. It's still a green day for us, but we did give some back there on AMD. Cisco right now, $1.70 in the money as that stock is getting flushed right now. Cisco, wow. 42? We're short 43.90, baby. The number one name on this sticky note is now $2 in the money on a $40 stock. We're happy with it. Let's keep this market rocking.
That was absolutely insane on Tesla there. That 700 went, and then, like I said, at some point it's going to be a short. I mean, I kind of thought like 10 minutes from now, 15 minutes from now, not like 30 seconds after I say it, but yeah, we're ahead southbound. Obviously, you can see here back below that 700. So that wick off top on the NASDAQ, now you're testing some of those lows, and as quickly as you're making money to the long side of the equation, now Tesla testing lower here. And 680, if you remember, if you do remember, like 680, I say that because there was a wick bottom very similar to today where it made a bottom and then just ran away from that price. So I'm expecting that there's going to be some buyers on Tesla at that particular level. So let's see what happens if we get to that 680. At that point, I'm very likely to be out of any short that I'm still in. For now, this market putting in a reverse, which puts back on the radar that weight, I guess, for Microsoft 250. For Amazon, I have alerts set up for these for Amazon 2000. I guess that's not that close. Microsoft 250, Apple as well. We're looking for that one to get double bottom from last week. 138.80 is going to come into play potentially here as we do reverse into the downside in these markets. I also got Neuro. So yeah, as quickly as I got out of one small cap, I was able to put one back on. So I'm back in, I'm into Neuro for the first time. That was a fail at 475 at the top, big level on the daily chart. That is where my stop will be, not rocket science. I mean, it's 78 is the high, so my stop will be like just above 80, really.
All right, yeah, I mean, and that's, you know, Neil, if you're noticing something about Neil and I is that we don't get into position without stops, right? I mean, that's what you got to have. And I mean, it saved us there on AMD for sure. As we were, you know, I was like, oh, we got to get out at this break through 96. And then we got out through 95.70 break there. So that was the trade that I was actually thought the stop order I had, but I actually had two in there. We're going to go long again, and we're just going to try to play off this 95 wick bottom there. That's all. If the market wants to keep going down, we saw a horrendous day yesterday. So it's just insane to sit here and expect, you know, to make money long if this market keeps on going down. We got out of the way yesterday and was able to catch some beautiful bottoms. We're going to see about it today. I mean, if this market retraces back upside, then we'll be fine. Well, we're still fine right now. We're positive on the day. It's a good day, but trying to look at some of these bottoms, including Facebook, I was like, why did I not just get that? Oh, I'm at 190.10. That's a mistake. I need to be down here at 190.20. That would have been a good long there. So we're going to put another bid here on Facebook to see if we can catch that. We probably should have reloaded Lucid down there. I missed that. That came right back into 1750. Probably not too late to do this right here. But again, I'm already long AMD here with a decent size. So let's hold off on reloading Lucid. If Lucid comes back down in to this 70, there we go. Now we've got AMD on. And we're going to get this out. If here it comes. So remember yesterday, AMD just, it rifled early.
I missed.
Yeah, Intel, it rifled early and then just tanked the rest of the day. So watch out here. We've got AMD on long now, 95.39.
Oh, you guys yelled at me. And I know you did. You guys were, I saw people screaming Intel, and I was like, is it there? I'm like, I don't think it's there. Yeah, so I forgot all about 42. That's on me. Like 42, oh my goodness, I should be slapping myself in the face. 42 was that support level, and it's been going back and forth in between this. Oh, is it really going to take out 4170? These are significant levels on a really high time frame for it. I do have to manage Neuro over here as it's making a test at that high. But if we get a bounce in Intel and come back into the middle of this range, I'm probably going to start shorting this name. We're well below that 43 mark. I don't like breakdowns on Intel because it's not that kind of a stock. Intel's not a breakout or breakdown stock in my mind. It doesn't move enough. So you want to make sure you get a good price. Hopefully there's a pop that I can short there. But as usual for me, like I'm going to go to the thing that concerns me the most, which is managing that Neuro trade. I haven't added to my position just yet. I'm going to get on the offer and go ahead and do that. As I said, if it takes out the high, I'm going to hold on to this one. Nothing, or maybe a couple of pennies past that high. Don't always like to have it right at that even dollar, but one already worked. We'll see if this one can come in for us as well. Managing Tesla, still have that Kohl's. Rivian was so close. But you got to have your levels, and that did violate. Sorry, it didn't actually get to that 29 level as well. And then when it comes to NVIDIA, like I was saying to someone in the chat, like I liked NVIDIA to the short side of the trade, but there's only so far I'm willing to take it. It then, of course, took out both my stops and then flushes back in. But that's going to happen. Like every single day, if I like 5 or 6, even if it's a good day, 1 or 2 of them usually stop out, and then you try to hold on to the rest. For now, the market's trying to make a bit of a mini bounce, so watch out for those reload opportunities. I am now looking for Intel as one of them.
Oh, man. We're doing damage again here on AMD. Hopefully this can continue to go to the upside. We're long 95.28 right now. And this was just one of those names that we were like, hey, you know what? I mean, I just talked about it before we threw to Neil, and it was just that it can go. We know that, but it can go both ways. So, you know, you got to be very careful here with some of these trades here on AMD. Oh, I was just waiting at 95.86 to take a little piece out there. Darn it. Might not want to get that high. Let's offer one more piece here in the 70s if we can get that again. There it is. Let's go. I don't know why I'm at 80. Sometimes I just go offer and then I just go up and push enter because honestly, look at the way some of these trades are happening right now for us on AMD. I mean, these levels are just going nuts. Like it's at 61 minute, then at 80 the next, 1 second, bouncing around here. So it's a good trade for me. Let's see if we can hold a little bit more of this. But we are going to get something out in the 80s if we're lucky enough to do that. But Brendan has something else.
Harley Davidson, guys, HOG to the downside in a big way today. They came out and said they're going to suspend production for 2 weeks across the board. So not making any motorcycles for 2 weeks because of chip shortages and supply chain issues. So same old, down 7 for HOG.
Target also down almost 5%. You know, I see people in chat talking about that, getting close to that 150 mark if you're watching across the board. Walmart as well. Exactly at the 120 mark right now. It actually broke 120 already, Walmart. So I shouldn't actually call that support level. It actually broke and looks like 77 is the current, 1977 is the current low. I'm in Kohl's. They also reported, if you remember BJ's, that was one that was relatively strong, but not one that's yet interesting to trade. Tesla keeps fighting, baby. The long was good. The short also was good for the scalp trade, but you're still You're still diddling in the middle here. We keep talking about that term, but once you put a wick off top, it's hard not to like a short side trade when you put a wick off top. And I look back towards this like 710 area to see if that now holds up once again as a bit of a resistance point. Intel's now coming close. That's one I didn't want to miss. If that can make any kind of a significant bounce, I'm going to try and get into the short on that name. Below 43 is a huge level, and it's been like it didn't even threaten that today.
I mean, wow, AMD right now. We put on our biggest position down there at 95.20. It's only $1.10 now in the money. $1.10, $1.20, $1.30 as AMD, $1.40 as AMD just keeps on ripping to the upside now. Wowee, wooey. 3 times day goal right now for us, 3 times daily as this just continues to make a move to the upside here. $1.40 in the money AMD, $2.15 in the money on Cisco, and the trade that we screwed up the most today is another. We're in 3 trades today. It's 3 for 3. This is how we're doing it, man. I'm limiting what I'm in and just trading the best setups for me. And honestly, what we're doing this month it has been amazing. Hopefully we can continue this for you guys. 3 for 3, all off the sticky note. Every single one of these names with levels given to you at 8 a.m. There's Lucid, man. That's 1750. Waited for that reload. Missed it because we were on AMD and getting cracked on that name, which is unbelievable. Now AMD $1.70 now in the money on good shares to the upside. And look at this Lucid trade. When it was down here, we're like, do we want it? Do we want it? Let's wait a little bit lower. Look where this just went to, guys. 1796 off that reload. So I hope you guys have that trade right now. AMD back to close to day's high, 98. We just took down 97. So I go offer enter. Thank you so much for that one as AMD right now upside surprise. Again, more money, not more money today than yesterday, but we're getting close as now we're approaching 3.5 times daily gold to the upside. AMD's going, Cisco's going, Lucid's going. We can find other names, but why? When this is how you're trading, stick with the best names, man. This is what we talk about when we talk about our trades of the day. It's stick with the names, understand which way you want to go. We had AMD longs written everywhere today, and here it is, man. We celebrating, we throwing them bows. It's been a good day so far today. Let's just face slap one more time. We are in the Matrix, baby, right here, and I love it. Let's go.
The Matrix, that's another one I got to actually watch, the new one.
I haven't seen that.
I haven't seen it either, but I actually know that it's free on Crave now. Tesla back up to that 710, so I got out of about 80% of the trade when it did that scalp. Now I'm looking for the bigger end of it. And if we're not above, like we liked the long originally, but if we're going to put a wick off top in, that was your 710 to 715 from yesterday. That's the curl I want to play on Tesla. And if it gets above that price, maybe you can do a bit of a jailbreak. You are seeing a bit of a bounce back into the upside in the market. That did not give me intel yet. I don't know why. I'll check that in a second. But it does mean Kohl's, which is still on the New York, Kohl's is back up to our entry price here, guys. So Kohl's comes right back in. We end up reversing into the long on 43. That is now a wick bottom on Kohl's. They were one of the more, I'm not saying it was a good report, but it wasn't as bad as some of the others. BJ's, I do mean to check back in on that one. But Kohl's 45 is the next level up. I said if 43 doesn't work, then we like the 45 level. And I won't be short on Kohl's again unless we see 45 in particular. Neuro has now gotten, it looks like it pulled back into VWAP there for a brief second. I was on the bid, did not get the fill. Yep, that's what happened. Sorry, I'm on the bid at 430s. Pull back into VWAP. I'm going to wait for 430s, 420s, and then probably $4 even is where I'd get all out of this trade. Cisco it's still valid. Like I think this is one of those, this might be the one, like it hasn't really threatened at any particular point, and I don't see any other target other than $40 even. So I know that's overly simplistic, but yeah, it's 40 even. I'm just going to put a bid out in front of it because you know what? If we see 40, that might actually be a viable long on Cisco at 40 even. I could actually see that happen. You go way back on the daily. Yeah. I mean, you have to go way back on the daily, but it actually is a level 40 even.
Oh man. I don't know. I'm so happy with the way trading's going, but I always, and this is part of trading, right? You always think like, you know, why did I get out? Why do I not have more shares? And I think Brad says it all the time. It's like, this is one of the only businesses where you could absolutely kill it and always, I mean, you could always think you could do better in any job, but it's just like, there's always regret, even when you're in. Like, I'm in the money, 250 here, and all I could think about is like, why did I get out when I was in the money $1.50? But then you have to go back to how you trade, right? And I mean, it's like, stay true to yourself. And if I'm making money doing one strategy, then let's just keep on that strategy. And if it means scalping out every few levels, and that's exactly what I'm going to do. I'm going to scalp out when I see those scalping out situations. And this time I actually was able to hold 35% through this 97. So getting out of this was really good. Like we got out of a third here when it just ripped up. We had way too many shares. Well, we didn't. Apparently we didn't. This is my problem. We all deal with issues. Right? Finding winners that's not a problem. I seem to be doing it every day. I keep telling my kid, man, write a program that just, I don't even see the share sizes, just goes in there, and that's that. I'm going to disable the keys and just start adding extra size to this one, but then I'll lose, right? And see my mentality? It's not a good one. But here we go. 3 for 3 today. It's going to be good. I'm waiting for a Facebook dip buy back in. IBM coming out today a little bit as well. Palantir on the move. Vinco Ventures, 10%. Down. Cisco, that 13. Wow. And again,
what happened to IBM?
Yeah, we're gonna go over to Brendan in just a second here, but this is what I'm talking about. Just here, put this sticky note. What's up, Bears versus Bulls? Please put this sticky note in or do something about it. Let these traders know because some traders aren't in the chat. But there's Cisco 44. I mean, it went there twice. It's at 41.50 or something right now. There's the Cisco short. There's the Lucid long. That's at 18. AMD longs, right? Facebook, Microsoft. So these levels didn't hit yet, but the AMD, Cisco, and Lucid did. And those are the three numbers that we're in, or three names that we're in. So it's like, look at this. We're almost 4 times now daily goal. As Cisco, AMD now almost at the day's high. It just touched 97.80 right there. Let's put an offer. I mean, I'm just going to get out again right here if I can in the 60s. But there it is, a nice move up there for AMD. But yeah, hey, it's good. But at the same time, all this can get sour real quick. So that's why, in my mentality, it's like scalp out the winners. We're here for you guys. Let's see how many we can put on the board. We've got 3 for 3 here today. And hopefully the money just keeps on coming in. As there goes AMD, now through 98. Your boy's got the long 95.20. My voice is gone already. And it's 10 o'clock. So let's go over to happening now. And then Neil can take the rest of the show.
Busy morning. Yeah, 10 o'clock, guys. Let's go. Here we go. A look at a basically flat board, depending on where you want to look. We'll start down here. The NASDAQ, yep, green, 0.2, 0.15 for the composite and the 100. Small cap still under pressure. It's the 1,000 that is leading so far, about 0.8 to the downside for small caps. S&P and the Dow still trying to get green as well. 0.9 for the Dow, 0.36. For the S&P, but we are heading in the right direction, obviously. A couple of things we were discussing. If you joined us, my remote, now we're going way too far. Let's go over to this one, Ford. Ford on the watch list today. There was a very small recall announced, but really not much action here. Back and forth we go, 1250 to 1290, although we are heading to day highs here, trying to bounce off the daily levels. My remote is a little bit sticky today. Here we go. Tesla as well was on the list. Watch these levels from yesterday afternoon. Rejected initially. It gets back above that 710, 720 area, showing a little bit of strength as well for Tesla, guys. Back over to you.
Yeah, definitely showing that strength. I might have got wicked out there, so I did reload in front of 9. It worked back down to like that 700 area on Tesla, and then it starts holding that 700 again. So you're getting a condensation of the range here, but it is so far to that upside. So once I saw that strength, I am going to take that trade out. I want to stay positive on Tesla ultimately. When you see the market heading to the upside and you are cresting up here, we'll go with what is working. I just got all out of Kohl's, by the way, which was probably a little bit too early. We'll see if that's actually the case. Like the short worked in, but again, this is another name which it made that stair step to the upside. You make sure you maintain your stop. I still like it at that 45 level for a bit of a short trade. So I'm going to go right back to that one when it comes here, guys. 45 on Kohl's is the level. Tesla right now double top 715. That's the kind of reason why I wanted to get out of that short. And Microsoft is also heading towards that 258 area, like two prices on Softy. Not going to see either one of them come in just yet. That's why we're being patient. 250, obviously, everyone liked that. 258 was certainly going to be the other one. And that's where, right about midday, you can look at how long we held out at that level. Microsoft has been relatively weak the last little bit here, and I know it's kind of leading the way. This is what you want to drag the market up. All things good so far, but 258 is going to stand out like a sore thumb. I did get into NRUO. You guys remember this one? About to hit me on the bid for the first time here, so we'll see if this one can work about as well as the SIGA did. Coinbase is still trying to go. It's got a bit of a double top of its own just forming, so kind of lining through like what's next. I'm not going to hit the celebration key for Neuro because that was just a double top on coin, and when I see that, you kind of know what's going to come next here. Double top, short to the high of the day, stop out if it takes out 67.5. Otherwise, see if I can't play the retracement on Coinbase. So always kind of looking toward what's next. Coinbase was on that radar. Do I like 70 more than I like 67.5? Sure, but I'm not going to ignore that double top. It actually just gave $3.50 the last time it pulled back. I'd be perfectly happy with half of that because our risk is about 50 pennies when you factor slippage, maybe as little as 40.
All right, see? So it's good. I went and got a tea, and I come back to $3 in the money now on AMD. So we push offer enter, take the $3 clean right there on AMD. And we also come back to see Lucid at day's high right now. So yeah, it's a cannon kind of a day here for me. And we've also now refreshed. We got a tea here. The lemon ginger is in the building right now. So hopefully, there it is. 4 times daily gold just met right now on AMD, almost on AMD alone. Well, no, it's 3 times on AMD. Everything else is sitting there as well, making that cash. But 98, it just touched 98.80. Remember I said it was now, this is now probably 4 or 5 days in a row that we've had monster longs on AMD off the open. And here it is again today. This is 95 to 98. So you're almost I'm $3.20 right now in the money. And I'm going to put an offer at that high. Again, when I sit down, I cost myself money, actually. That's the thing. Because, sitting here trading, okay, let's go. I'm just watching AMD. We're actually in the 60s right now for that one. Lucid now 75 cents or 80 cents in the money. Cisco come back in a little bit here at $1.33 now in the money as that touched 41.50. But again, we're basically out of Cisco. That's why I'm not watching it, not really worrying about it, much more focused on AMD right now. But again, even on AMD, guess what? I only have have 10% left right now as well. So yeah, good moves to the upside. Glad we hold the third for that 97 break, but this is really getting spicy, up 2%. So I'm probably going to switch over and just start trading the futures at some point with some of the calls that we've been making. So get ready for that one. I know Neil's also looking at UVXY, so hopefully we can get spicy with some of these plays. But let's go over to Valeria over there at the big desk. We're sad about Valeria still, but we're recovering, Miss V.
It's gonna be all right, Sean. And hey guys, I know it's a very busy morning, and I remind you to like this video. More than 7,000 people watching us right now, and we need your support. Please smash the like button, and back to you guys.
Yes, sir. 7,000. What a great number. Thank you guys so much for that support. I promise I'll try to get some of these names like Pinterest. I mean, I haven't looked at Pinterest in a while. There's been a lot of other names that have been more interesting. I think on earnings we do. And I know Veru is moving. You mentioned UVXY. Apologies. I should have already pulled this one up. But if you look at the strength in UVXY, well, this morning, it's actually like been teetering on, like I had this line drawn, I had to pull way back to be able to see it. It's about 1775, but it's been bouncing off that level. If we're really going to jailbreak and get past 12,000, then you need to break this. You need to break this to the downside. Like right now, you're getting whipsaw action and volatility that is holding the top end of the range, and that's not enough. Like we need to be breaking through that bottom if you think we're going to get through that 12,000. So far, so good. Obviously, the market trying to make a move to the upside. I just talked about Coinbase. You guys have probably seen this before. I would rather get stopped out at the high, and then when it does a failed break, try to get back in. And if I miss getting back in, fair enough. Sometimes you're able to get back in when it does that wick top and you are the wick. But I'd rather take my stop and then risk missing out on the trade. But this time I did jump right back into it once it was still valid on Coinbase. It got halfway towards that VWAP target, so I've got half of it out, as you could probably imagine, and going to sit on the bid for the rest. I keep watching Bitcoin because like, it doesn't matter, but it would matter if 30,000 broke like literally as I was sitting there and Coinbase was at the high. And it's right there. That's the only reason I have to watch it out of the corner of my eye, obviously, this entire time. Cisco, like I said, you know, that round number is just a round number. We don't want to give it all back. So what I'm watching here is, as it tries to curl off VWAP, what kind of a low is it going to put in? If it puts in a pretty good volume low, above, say, 41.75, then we might need to take this one off at some point. And especially if we break that channel on UVXY, if that gets broken to the downside, it's going to raise everything. Cisco is going to come up with it. So you don't want to give away that profit if you can't. Until then, just sort of go back to what was working. And the reason why I mentioned, like, I'll flip from name to name, and you'll see, like, maybe 10 minutes ago, I was like, yeah, Coinbase, watch out for Coinbase, because after it makes that move and it's doing this, I already know if it comes back up and makes a double top, now I got a level to work off of. Let's wait for that trade to come in. It does. Now you're coming back into VWAP. It's about $1.50 in the money. I'm now down to only, I guess it's about a quarter of the position just left. If it breaks VWAP, great. We'll try to hold on for a little bit more, but I'm not anticipating it's going all the way to 64. For now, the market's still looking relatively strong. For now.
Yeah, great trade on Coinbase. We were talking about that Coinbase, that, you know, its bottom. Can you believe what the bottom was on that name?
Well, I know. But
yeah, I know. But it's just when you look at that, and this is what I was talking to. And by the way, like, my kid is shut down when we talked about going short Cisco.
Oh, I know what happened.
How is that even possible?
I can.
But okay, on that one, a little bit more work required with that kid. Okay, downside move in here. All right, here goes Coinbase. Yeah, this is what I was talking about. And we talked about, the reason why I brought this up, and is that $40 there for Coinbase was just 4 days ago, man. So like, you're up 50-something% now in just a matter of days on Coinbase. So yeah, watch out for some retracement back up there. Yeah, I'm just giving Baxter a hard time. Hopefully he'll be able to recover from there. Well, I don't know. I mean, the play was 44. Did it break 44?
So there's a wick on our chart. And I'm not saying
no,
like,
no, it's not that.
I don't think it was that, but like sometimes every now and then those wicks, like they're actual prints in level 2. They're just late dark pool prints. Every now and then they do trigger stops depending on the type of stop order you had. So
AMD.
I kind of thought like maybe that was it, but I guess not.
No, because yeah, I had stop orders in that. That wasn't the problem. There goes AMD right there. $4, $3.50. There it is. We just cracked it. There's the daily goal right there. So the money here, it's flying out of the wheelbarrow, but we have to have something like there's a money tree and it's just growing money, and we're there just picking it out of the sky. That's what it feels like right now, Brendan.
A couple of apparel makers making moves, guys. One, Canada Goose, the other, Under Armour. JP Morgan with a negative note after some executive changes at Under Armour. But this one, Goose, yeah, up 5.5% on a decent report. They actually pointed to China recovery and maybe not any supply chain issues for Canada Goose, guys. So looks pretty good today.
Yeah, you know what? On the way in, I read the Under Armour thing about the executive change. I think it's under 2 years he was there. So that's never a good sign, especially in a space that's getting hurt. And it gave you $10. Wow, $10 on Under Armour. The last time I looked at the stock, it was actually, I think it was at $20 last time I looked at it. But yeah, now cracking 10 even. It's broken down, and this is what you usually look for when you're breaking new levels, like below 10. It's now below this, like 980. Just sort of all systems go in terms of breaking a floor. I can probably forget about how far you go back to see what the disaster is. But if you're going to retrace it, 980 to 10 sort of becomes that level that you would be shorting in front of. Canada Goose, bit of a shock. I don't think anyone's going to be, I guess, have guessed that Canada Goose was going to be a retailer that beat. So it wasn't on my radar at all, but go Canada. I would hit the O Canada, but it's not on my board.
It's okay because it's on mine right there. So we'll do that right now and hit that one. And yeah, I'm surprised as well. They do have a lot of production in China and things like that. So I
thought they got hit.
To me, I'm surprised. I mean, China's COVID zero policy definitely hit that. I believe it's over to Miss V.
Hey guys, we got a few super chats for me. One from Isaac Kim saying, Miss V, have a Starbucks on us. Good luck and best wishes. It was nice having you with us. Thank you so much, Isaac. You know how much I love Starbucks. I appreciate that a lot. And another one from D Talker. Lunch on me, Miss V. Thank you so much, guys. I won't be left hungry and without coffee. Thanks to you. And again, I remind you guys, tomorrow will be my last day at Trader TV Live, unfortunately, as my work permit came to an end. But remember, you will always remain my trading family, and I love you. Back to you guys.
Hell yeah. Yep, that's right. Wait a minute. Okay, so if I hit, so you hit it, and it went to me. Let me see if I hit it, who it goes to. Me again. Oh, man.
That actually doesn't make sense.
I'm always sad, I guess, for that.
I know it, because it's supposed to, like...
Yeah,
one's supposed to be in front of me, which
there's
I thought,
a left and a right.
Logically speaking, I thought the one on my board was going to go over my face. So if I didn't mean
Neil,
like,
that's too logical.
Yeah, that's my bad.
Yeah, too logical.
You can't have logic around here. Like it's a wasted art.
I mean, especially in the stock market sometimes. And again, guys, just a big thank you to everybody. I know Valeria just did it again, but thank you for the super chats on here. We'll get definitely Ms. V, whatever she wants for lunch. There we go. Thank you, D. Tucker. Thank you, Isaac Kim again. Yeah, we're all sad here, but it's not. Believe us when we tell you. Ms. V's happy. We're all going to move forward with this and just see what goes down from here. So thank you again. 300,000. We can't complain about that. And Ms. V was a big, huge part of getting that. So we definitely thank her for that. Yeah, exactly. It was integral. I like that, integral for that development of the show and everything she did and everything you did, Ms. V, on the midday show as well. It's very hard to make Prad look good. And she did it.
That is not where I thought you were going with that.
I know. No one ever knows where I'm going. That's why I'm here, to be honest with you.
You know what's crazy? The best part about it is, like, every time there's a really, really good Prad zinger, he always, like, it's headphones on or earbuds on, and he doesn't actually catch it. So it's like everyone chuckles, and Prad has no idea that he just got roasted.
I mean, I'm here for the people. I'm here for the people. There we go.
What's he eating, by the way?
And everybody loving that right now, that comment. So, yeah, no, we're just playing around. You guys know we love Brad. Or, quite frankly, he wouldn't be there, right? Let's call it, be it like it is. Okay, right now, Cisco. So just we're still $2 in the money. I went to get the tea, and I think you were talking about Cisco. I don't know if you reloaded it or not, but I just quickly here for my trades. And again, Neil and I, for joining for the first time, thank you so much, man. We're getting record viewers and everything like that. It means a lot to us. I've only been in 3 names. Oh, another shout out to Bears versus Bulls Media. Thank you once again for the moderation. It's been fantastic. We really appreciate everything that you're doing for us as well. But I'm going to look at Cisco here, 42.50. Like, I just want to see if we respect some of these lines. I mean, they're on here for a reason, so let's try to use them. They haven't meant anything so far to Cisco. I didn't care about these lines earlier. We know we wanted 44. It's on the sticky note, so we just respected that. But now, as the market has now given us data, 45 minutes we've been open, now some of these VWAP and things like that, I'm going to try to respect some of these because we need to find some trading ideas, and we don't need to. I'm done trading for now. I'm not, but could be. But again, if good opportunities exist, your net doesn't matter. And that's why I try to tell everybody, and quite frankly, that's why I was just joking around with Baxter there. It's like, you shouldn't make one trade in a day unless it's really you've hit your goal and you're done. You always want to try to say to yourself, the maximum I'm going to lose on a trade is like 25% of what? 25 to 30%. Maybe extend that a little bit more now because of the volatility. But even 50% of my day's loss. So if I'm going to shut myself down here at Day Trade the World, we have risk parameters. So for example, if my account loses, let's just throw out a number because it's going to be easy math, $1,000. Then I'll get shut down for the day. That means that I'm going to plan a trade around maximum loss of $300 or so. So meaning if I short 1,000 shares of Cisco right now at this level, and my shutdown is going to be 1,000, I'm not going to lose more than 30 pennies on the trade. So that's the mentality that I have. Might be incorrect. I don't know. I'm just giving you guys 21 years of experience. There's always, and Neil will tell you the same thing, there's always another trade, right? Like if Neil gets shut down on that Tesla long, then he can't take the short.
It's true.
It's true. It's true. So you got to do that Kurt Angle. You got to be able to watch out for plays like that. And that's just a little bit, hopefully there, a little bit of education and what goes through my mind. So on that note, I will be taking some shares here on Cisco. And again, the level is going to be 43. So I'm going to look to take something here at 42.50, a little bit of a trade, and then work it up to 43. And then if we break through 43, I'm going to get out. So that's how I plan my trades. And hopefully you guys do something similar. If not, I'd like to hear sort of the risk parameters that you guys have as well.
Yeah, exactly. And the other thing too is like when it hits your stop, like take your stop. And also consider going with the trend. I like counter trend trading as much as anybody. I mean, Prad loves it too. But that was a double top on Coinbase. I'll go back to the 5 minute, back in the 3 minutes so you can see yesterday's action too. And I'm now into the long side of the trade. And it's a strong move. It already gave you the pullback. I still had 20% of the short when it took out that top. So the last little bit that we're trying to hit the home run on ends up being a bit of a loser. But when you then have a third time testing it, the third time is not a charm in my books when you're playing off a level like that. If there's air up there, then to me it's a reverse, and there's air up there. Do I still think it can be shorted at 70? Sure I do, but until we get to that price, I'll probably be thinking about only the longs on Coinbase. I'm kicking myself that maybe I should have held on to Coles a little bit more, guys, but that one's still holding 44. The next level might be 45. So I'm sitting on the offer there. Brendan.
Big mover from back at the beginning of the pandemic, guys. INO just noticed up 15% today, having a nice move off earnings. And Novio, it was just earnings though, no data or anything like that, trying to take out day highs.
You might have had this, would force Google to break up its online ad business. Did you bring that to us already? Legislation introduced in Senate would force Google to break up its online ad business. I don't know what exactly that means, but I just seen that on the newswire, but it's 12 minutes old. So I figure we've probably talked about it, but let's just quickly here to see what that's meaning to Google. Nothing, it doesn't look like. Google's still up higher than the market. Remember, and I sort of say this tongue in cheek, but I don't mind if legislation comes in and breaks some of these guys up if they want to. I think it'll be nasty little, it'll be turbulent for a while when that news comes out and what's going down. But YouTube has so many, or YouTube, there we go, talking about Google here. Google has so many profitable businesses, which leads to YouTube. They could spin YouTube off alone, and it would be like instantly in the S&P 500. So I mean, this is the thing. I say about buying some of these rallies, dollar cost averaging into some dips, and I've already said my number one name to buy here is Google. I've been buying this name. I would buy nothing else. Neil asked me about Palantir and stuff yesterday.
Well, that was devil's advocate. I didn't really mean by that.
No, not that you asked it. The only reason is that my mind just instantly goes to Google every time when we're talking data, when we're talking about the different operations that they have worldwide, giving you some international exposure, and also giving you a dip buy opportunity. Some stocks that remain, like an Eli Lilly, names that I like, still are relatively high. But look at Google. It's down here literally on its bottoms, as are all these tech stocks. Neil talked talked about today? Yes, sir. Right now, we're starting to really rally upside here now on some of these names. Anyways, Google's a name that I like. I'm not going to put a trade on right now, so let's not talk about it. Days high almost? Yes, sir. Look at this Lucid trade. Again, if I could realize how to use Twitter, I would tell you. Oh, here it is right here. Look at this time. What's the time on this right now? 9:25. 9:25. Market not open yet. This is me. I really think I like this Lucid long. Right? 9:25. Market not open. And at that time, Lucid at 17.50. It's $1 in the money from there now. So there it is right there. Lucid rocking and rolling. We like it. We like it a lot. Should have reloaded there. That's the biggest mistake by far for me today, is not reloading that Lucid trade down there. But anyways, whatever. We've had a couple good rants. I hope you guys have learned a few things today about, mistakes and how both of us trade and what we look at. And on that note, the guy you're probably going to learn the most of here on the show, Brendan Wickens, over there at the big screen, small cap recap. Let go.
Yeah, amazing move for Lucid. Lots of room for these stocks back to the upside if they want to get going. Here we go. NURO. I mentioned a couple of things on this. We're into this enormous area of support on the daily chart. That was one. 7 million float on this as well. There just doesn't seem to be the love for these low float stocks as there once was. But definite support coming into play here at this point, 33% still. For NURO. Got some out at day high there on the long, but wasn't enough. So we'll see what happens. Volume already dying on NURO, so might just continue grinding back to the downside. SIGA, the other one that's been flying around on volume this morning, 9 seems to be an area of concern. Gave you a nice move down to 820 initially. Well, it looks like we're stalling out again at 9. There was a huge volume spike back to the upside through to 9 that got me out of most of this short. Got back into some of that. We'll see if we can hold 9 once again. But there was a huge bid that was chasing this thing on the level 2 back to that 9 even for SIGA. So just be aware if it does break 9, we probably get a push through to maybe day highs, guys, for SIGA.
It's funny that you mentioned Neuro, Brendan. That one, the Jays need to hit a few more of those. Like, for a team that's supposed to be a good offense, they're not a very good bloody offense. That's the word I'm going to use. However, hopefully we'll be good luck tomorrow when the floor heads out to a Jays game, and we'll be cheering them on to see if it can't beat up the worst team in all of baseball, the Cincinnati Reds. But that Neuro, it just hit 410 and consolidated. The only significance to that level is in the pre-market. It was the first level of support, $4. I will hold some of it in case $4 does break. Remember when this was at 450, like when it made that double top, I was like, yeah, wait for it to come back. I'm going to start it at mid 450s, not going to chase it down, and then the short is going to be off of the high of the day. So that did work out, at least so far. Coinbase is trying to rally. There's one thing holding this back. I'm telling you, man, like 12,000 on the NASDAQ. It keeps on trying to go. That was just now on the NASDAQ. And then I look over at UVXY and it's like, are we heading back down below that price yet? Like really? Like, can we not get below this support level? If we break that support, forget about it. The real jailbreak is going to be on. Everything is just cresting at resistance at this point, exactly when volatility is hanging on by a thread there. So if you want the serious extension further, like this break that just happened on Coin, or any of these NASDAQ names to get through the high. Microsoft just turned back $1 off of its high of the day. And I think it's because you have the NASDAQ 12,000, you got volatility holding support.
Oh my God, NASDAQ
Once you break that shelf, I think we can really start to go. But as I say it, it's like there's another pullback, and that's the reason why. We just keep bouncing in UVXY. Need it to go.
This is ridiculous. I said over and over again that I should look at the few. Remember when we were down here 11.8? I was like, the NASDAQ's probably going to make a run to 12,000. I said it's only 130 points away from here. I didn't even realize. Thanks to Neil for bringing that up. We just touched 12,000. That might be, now that I see that, I mean, look, we love an AMD. It's at the high of the day. I'm letting this cruise. But I think I'm going to take another piece out right now on this name here because of that 12. Look, 12,000 could also be the breaking spot for a higher move. So I'm not, super concerned about it. But there it is. We'll take out, yes, sir, man. Let's do this one more time. I mean, there it is, the AMD. We just took out another play there for 350 in the money. We're at the highest spot we've been at all day, and it's Miss V time.
Hey guys, I got a super chat from Alex Diaz. Thank you, Miss V, for being a great team member. You will be missed. You're always welcome to my area, Silicon Valley. I hope to see you soon. Thank you so much, Alex. And guys, I'm so blessed to find so many great people all around the world. So thank you. And I remind you, I'll be coming on the chat. We'll be checking on you, and you will be always remain my family. Back to you guys.
Sad. Yeah, so thank you again for the super chat. And yeah, and maybe Miss Vimo will head down to Silicon Valley at one point. She's always wanted that Tesla. So I'm waiting for the picture of Miss V in her Tesla. I wonder what color it's going to be when she gets one. But what's up, Brandon?
Matt Black.
Oh, this one, guys. Remember we were talking about new holdings earlier in the week up on earnings. They beat right across the board. Nice report. Having quite the day here. Back about 4 on decent volume for NU.
Seriously? Wow, good for you, New. So my alert went off like, the first time when you mentioned Lucid just now.
Yes.
And on my 15-minute chart, that was at that 1850 area. So it's made a couple of attempts at this level on resistance. I said if anything gets a significant resistance, I mean, the market, I was just showing you it, trying to break out and not quite getting there. So I have jumped into that trade. This is on the 15-minute, what that looks like. But obviously $18 is going to be, I'm not saying it's going to be a wall, but that's that first level of significance is it tries to head back down with the rest of the market. And when you get to a level like that, I'm always thinking about what stock, while the market is at resistance, is also at resistance. Like if Microsoft had been at 258 when we just got to that 12,000, I'd be short Microsoft right now. But it's not, so I can't take the trade that's not there, unfortunately. But we are starting to head back in. Thankfully, on Coinbase, oh goodness. Yeah, thankfully on Coinbase, we did take another leg out there at 68.25. Now it's trying to make a bit of a pullback here. Now, can it hold 66, 66.5? If it makes a little bit of a curl there, or sorry, consolidation there, I should say, then I might try to reload on this because the jailbreak feels like it's on. But I'm into Lucid at that particular key level. I do like it, and we'll definitely be taking our shot there. The other name that was possibly on the radar at that particular price was Rivian. Rivian was through 29 when I looked at it. Now I'm like, oh crap, I mean, I could be in this one instead of Lucid. It's about the same kind of trade. It's a double top on the 15-minute. It is now below it. I should be in this one as well. I mean, I get it, it's kind of the same play, but in a lot of ways, I've usually liked Rivian better for this play. So I'll see if I can't get into this one off of the high as well. It didn't have a catalyst at all, whereas the Lucid at least did. So maybe I should have been, I'll get into this one as well.
Oh, man. Yeah, we missed Apple. I wanted Apple short. We've been talking about that forever. We're now up to 141. And here goes Softy. What a great out on AMD. We can talk about that in a minute. Like, we just got some out at 98.65 there. AMD's at 97.50 right now. As now I only have like 2% left. Well, no, I got out of half of what I had. So I have 5% left, sorry, on that play right there. Wow. Microsoft. So this is a name that I want to look at here again. You know, we've taken it down. It made those highs at 256, but like Neil said, we're already well off of that. We just bounced off 254 there. So I don't know what the market wants to do, but that was just another bottom. So I meant to push the long there on Microsoft. I wasn't sure if I wanted to do it, but we're trying to play off some of these wicks that are actually down there at 254. So a good defense there of 254 probably coming in. And by the way, I have this lemon ginger tea. And wow, it's definitely, you know, making my voice rock and roll a little bit here, which is nice. Normally, you know, if you did have some of that maple syrup or something a little bit to throw in here, then that would be real good.
Yes.
But this is nice, though, just like that. So gotten a little bit of life back in me here.
There was a thing of maple syrup for putting in coffee and tea that was in the fridge. But as you can imagine, I don't think it lasted.
I think Greg put it on all his waffles.
It didn't last very long. Like, I brought it in. I was like, yeah, I'm going to use it every now and then. And then, like, within 1 week, it was mysteriously gone. So that did happen. I can try. I'll bring another one in if I can. It's just finding. I want to bring in too much, and then all of a sudden people are going to be putting it on everything. But it's fantastic in coffee. Like, I would rather sweeten. I don't sweeten my coffee, but if I'm going to, I'm telling you, man, forget about everything else and just put legit, real maple syrup in that bad boy, and you can thank me later. I am now in the Rivian trade, which I will fully admit, probably a better play in a lot of ways than Lucid, which I'm also in. It's the same setup, pretty much, but you got to factor in that there was a positive catalyst for Lucid and not Rivian today. So when it gets to that double top, then we want to make sure we're going to be in that trade. The market, again, as usual, pulls back off of these highs. at this point, it kind of is what it is. Like, you're playing these ranges, and that's what's going to work for you. Like, was it 2 days ago? It was 2 days ago where it felt like a good bounce day. We're going to break out and then extend, and I just tried to hold everything to the long side, thinking, okay, this is the day we're going to break, and break everything, and it just didn't work for you. So if you weren't scalping, you ended up losing on that particular day. But anyways, we'll see what happens here with both Rivian and Lucid. I do have a stop on the top end to make sure that we don't get absolutely blown away. The other thing which I need to get back on the bid of is Neuro. Just made a bounce off of $4. I did get some out there at 410, but I'll take one more leg out in front of 4. If that were to break, who knows? Like, maybe it does go to 350. I think that's at least a little bit unlikely. But these things, I've seen them fall further than I anticipate. It certainly is possible for Neuro to do that as well.
All right, Brendo.
There was a volume spike there, guys, on Robinhood, up 2% on the day. If you remember earlier in the week, we mentioned Sam Bankman-Fried of FTX with the investment in Robinhood. FTX announcing they're going to launch free stock trading without payment for order flow, in an attempt to get into both sides of the business and be an everything app. Again, that's FTX, not Robinhood, but remember, Sam Bankman-Fried with an investment earlier this week in Robinhood, so a nice little uptick there for Robinhood as well. Let's get a check on how things are shaping up over in Europe. Miss V, what's up?
Hey, Brandon, European markets are negative. Retail stocks are among worst performers, and earnings remain in focus, with Royal Mail trading in London down more than 12% after posting 2021-2022 profit a little bit below market expectations.
Yeah, back and forth here as well. North America down 0.5%. We'll take it after yesterday, guys.
Okay, so yeah, we will take this. I mean, we called an up market today, but it's not that up. It's only up 0.1 right now. So I just took a 20-cent hit on Microsoft. Honestly, we averaged in on that. We got out when it broke through 60. So sorry, about a 40-cent hit, on Microsoft. But I don't know. The market just ripped like crazy there. And I guess I should have given this a little bit more room. The problem is Microsoft, and I actually, just how aggressive it got. Like, Microsoft turned red, which is why we went short. So that's the first thing. But then the NASDAQ just popped, not even that much. And Microsoft turned around like $1. Like, that was 40, like, we were short and in the money here when it broke through 254. That was the first trade. It went down as low as 79. So we were 20 cents in the money at the best. We were never really in the money because it just bang, bang, like that was very fast. But, and then all of a sudden the market just turned around on what I don't see any news there, but the market just turned around and this thing took off literally from 254 up to 255.40 or something. So it's a good thing we're able to get out of that one. But yeah, maybe Microsoft is a lot more, I was gonna say more aggressive, but a lot stronger than I gave it credit for. And you wanna know something that, again, I'm really going to, and I said it, you never wanna beat yourself up over anything, but AMD right now is up to $99. Our long is 95. So we're in the money 4 here, and it's how much do I have left? I just told you 5%. It's ridiculous that this keeps on happening, but whatever, man. We're at our goals. We've made them today. I couldn't be happier. Trade your own way, but definitely, even myself, I got things to work on, man. I gotta try to either A, take more shares, which I think is what I'm gonna wind up doing, or B, hold a little bit longer. But there it is, man. AMD, we talked about the volatility in this market. The market doesn't even have to move, and you get a $5 winner here or $4 winner here on AMD, and the market's really doing nothing. So a nice move here. Look at this. Look at this stock. $99.50 right now. If you guys aren't buying AMD on dips into your investment portfolio, then you don't think the market's going up. So here we go, AMD, big time movement here. Basically, Microsoft, IBM, Palantir as well, up 5%. We talked about that name today, so shout out to Henry on that. We were looking to buy that at $8 last night. Here it is to $8.40, so that's a good trade as well. Cisco, I haven't been able to get back into the short.
So someone asked in the chat, it's where's your stop on Rivian? I told you guys, high of the day. So there it is. I'm always going to put high of the day for that trade. It's the same thing. It doesn't matter whether it's Neuro, it doesn't matter whether it's Rivian or any of those. Sometimes you give it an extra couple of cents because it's too obvious of a level. So instead of 420, you might put 425 or something like that. But always willing to make that top wick so that you can preserve your day. It's not about, you can't short into oblivion, right? It just makes no sense to do that. And if it's too strong, you just get right out of it. I'm curious about this IBM because IBM is getting hit. I understand when growth goes up, you get some of those. What's the word I want to use? Like, yeah, safer dividend type names can be a little bit weaker on the day, but I wasn't necessarily expecting that. I know Cisco under trouble there. Maybe it's getting caught up in that, but that was a pretty big move into the downside. I want to come back over to Coin because it's trying to go again. We talked about how we wanted to buy that dip. I'm not going to draw a trend line because that's pretty useless, but it has been holding VWAP here. So we did the break. It couldn't get past 68.5. Now we're trying to play the trend, hopefully cresting to the upside on the way to, in theory, like that little tight cluster that you would see on the daily chart. This is what it's working towards, 70 to 74. So there's so much room for this to go. I think it's going to have trouble getting through 70 even, so I'll be out there. But Coinbase has a lot of runway. And I'm not ignoring Tesla, but it's basically giving you a bunch of scalp trades, which is what I was doing before. And now you're seeing it do something very similar to Coin without the actual break of the top. And that break also coincides with the exact high from that 700 last night, or in the afternoon yesterday. That 700 couldn't get past this level here, 715, and now you have a wedge forming at the exact same price. So if UVXY breaks down of that support, which it still hasn't done, we're there right now, goes red on the day and holds, Tesla through 715 is a jailbreak at that point. There's a few others that could be jailbreaks as well, but I feel like Tesla's been coiling the longest, for lack of a better word there, and one that I completely ignored and forgot all about again today. I always forget about SoFi. I write it down, and then I'm like, oh yeah, SoFi. SoFi, another name, right at its high yesterday, looking to try to make a bit of a break. That's the 3-minute chart, but if you go back over to the daily, you can kind of get an idea what SoFi is doing. You got a wick bottom, you got the 50 period like 20 cents away here. You had the previous March low. That's at 770 as well. So SoFi is another name, which is at key monster resistance right here, right now. So if it pulls back, fair enough, but another name that could jailbreak. I like Tesla the most because it's one of my favorite stocks to trade, but don't sleep on something like a SoFi either.
I mean, Apple right now, we just took that short. That's a monster right here. Well, hopefully it's going to be a monster. Now 50 cents in the money on the Apple short right now. And guys, I told you about Lucid. Man, this is now at $19. Lucid, big, huge move today, man. We're still in this name. So there it is, like Lucid, monster move. It's on the sticky note. It's everywhere you can find. And Brendan, wait, oh, are we waiting for Brendan? No, we'll get ready for him as we go there. But here it is, man. Lucid, nice move to the upside, man. We're not shorting that one, but maybe at 19. It's just double topped a couple times right there right now. Cisco, $2 in the money, still going down. We just, guys, like this is what I'm talking about when we say that we're in the matrix. We just shorted Apple. It's 70 cents in the money. So let's take it. I mean, should we take a piece out? I don't know. But we do know one thing. We're ready for Brendan over there at the big screen.
Hey guys, yeah, a bit of a mixed board to show you today. We are still negative on the S&P, 0.75, in fact, to the downside. But there are individual names kind of standing out stronger than the rest. I just noticed PayPal up here. 3.5% to the upside today. So some of the names that have been beaten down over the past months and months and months, it seems, getting some love here today. So software names in the tech group actually leading as far as strength is concerned, but all pretty much of the semiconductors outside of Broadcom there back to the upside. That's Cisco, 12.5% downside, dragging all of these down with it today. So hardware equipment makers offsetting some of the strength from up here in the semiconductor group. Under Armour, here we talked about on the negative side of things. There's Target, another 4.5% to the downside for Target. We mentioned with Raheem, if you joined us in the pre-market, some of the dollar type store names getting hit yesterday. Again today here for DLTR and DG. 3+% for both. So individual names here throughout the rest of the board here standing out on the positive side, but otherwise negative session. Worth noting some of the pharmaceutical names back to the upside today in the healthcare group, including Moderna there, 4.25% back higher. Paramount, Limet, and Match, 2.8% in the communications group. So some of the communication stocks positive. Energy, far corner, downside along with oil. 0.8 though for the S&P guys to the downside. Back over to you.
All right. right. Yeah, it's really nice to see the S&P to the downside, like we just mentioned there. So again, I'm just thinking if this market does want to crash, man, maybe Lucid getting out here at 1870 for a paltry $1.30 winner might be the right play. But I don't know. Like, we didn't get out the whole way up. It's really given no shorting opportunities for me here. Maybe that 1870, which is kind of what we're looking at there, if you do take that down. But that could be a good level to get out, 1870, and then maybe to the short side. But we're still watching this 50 period go higher and higher right now. As Apple breaks, we just talked about that, breaking the low of the day right now. So, I mean, wow, there it is. This is now $1. Like, we're just going to, maybe we'll just take a smooth dollar on this and then see how low Apple goes. But that low has now come into play here, that we've already taken it down, 138.80. So here comes Apple back down into 138. I'm going to put a bid and just get some out now. This has been a nice move to the downside. The market's still fine, so I don't feel like this is a monster flush coming. And if it is, we already have it on. So let's take a piece. There it is. Let's take a piece out down there. It was just in the teens, right? Look how aggressive that took to the upside. There's a lot of buyers here, man. There's a lot of buyers in this market. It might not seem like it, but as I'm watching some of these names, when they get to levels, they get bought up. So I don't know. I'm a little nervous about holding on to these shorts just in case you do get some kind of a relief rally at a certain point here. But Brendan, what you got again?
A pandemic IPO, Zoom Info. So not Zoom video communications, but Zoom Info. Big move down. The Bear Cave out with a short report on ZI.
Uh-oh. Yeah, another one of those reports. I'm gonna bite here. I did get it in that SoFi off that high, so you'll see that one pop in there. It's about 750. The current high is 757. But I'll bite, not on Zoom Info, although that is interesting, but that BGXX. So this is gonna like, I actually even said, like, you don't want to usually short these things overnight because the risk of what can happen to you is too great. But when these things go up and do what they do, they come to market, really, really small float. It goes like $16, screaming into $50 yesterday. We were shorting it into the close. And I did have one last short that it halted into, but this is what happens on the other end, guys. The stock is now at $19 and been only dropping all day long. And hopefully anyone that had this long yesterday managed to take their profit because it's pretty much gone now, all of it. And that's what happens in just 1 hour or so of the market. It goes up for a couple of days. They always come back in. There was no fundamental reason why this had any business going up other than squeezing higher on a low float.
And someone there just, like, I'm just in chill mode, if you can't tell already here. We only have a little bit of time left. As I already told you, we're 4 times daily goal there. Okay, look at this. I just want to say something. So someone just said, wow, Apple is weak today. Yeah, I agree, Sar Barton. PayPal's been pretty strong. I'll do a little more work to see if these are the bottoms. I'm already into PayPal. PayPal was the call of 2020 for me, where we went from $80. The call was at 103 or something. That went to 240 or something that year alone. So that was a good call there, and now PayPal has been getting hit. But someone just said here, oh, here it is right there, Afterstar. Apple is really weak today. Yeah, I mean, join the club. It's been weak for a while, and that's why I went to 2 names short today. Cisco, you can't get any easier than that short. Apple, honestly, it's been weak, so we just head over to Apple. We're out now of 2/3 of this play, as we just got a bid there at 18 or 17 or 15, whatever that was down there. And the other name that I like that's weak, that I thought was going to be weak, is Microsoft. So we've been watching Microsoft weak, but that one, and we take a hit on Microsoft, but at the same time, it looks like it might be a little strong here. So I think I'm going to try to change up my pace a little bit here on Softy and what I'm thinking, because it looks to be strong today. It's up. It's against the market, up 0.3, market down 0.3. So that relationship is strong right there, as opposed to Apple. And this is kind of the stuff that I'm talking about. Apple down 0.31. Apple down 1.8 here against the market 0.3. So when you're talking about relative weakness versus strength, that's, like I said, a lot of this isn't rocket science, right? AMD, another name. Look what AMD's up today, 2.3%. Look what side we've only been on long. Look at Lucid today, right? I'm not shorting this. Wow, look at Lucid. You are right, Sean. Look at Lucid. This play, 1750 we're long on Lucid, guys. This is a big move to the upside right here. Like, look at this. Why? This is not a shortable name for me today. You actually, right here, this is coming, 20? Where are we going to get out? Maybe 1950 on Lucid today? I think that could be a good trade to get out of. So we'll put an offer there. Look, stocks go up. Do they go up forever? Who knows? I'm pretty happy with this move on Lucid, let alone, man, this is 10% almost to the upside here, $1.50, $1.70, sorry now. Look where we're in the money. $3 in the money on AMD, $2 in the money on Cisco, $2 in the money on $1.70 in the money on Lucid, $1 in the money on Apple. 4 for 4 here right now, Brendo.
All right, it's not Friday, but it kind of feels like Friday around here. I have to mention this because it's pretty amazing to me. It's PGA Championship weekend for golf fans all over the world. Quick look at the early leaderboard, guys. A lot of the regulars you would expect on here. Xander Schauffele, there's Rory, 2 under. I wanted to mention this, though. The legend and machine that is John Daly. 1 under through 9 at the PGA Championship, guys.
That guy's, hey man, he's still kicking. He's still kicking. I didn't even know he was still playing, I'll be honest with you. I kind of figured, I mean, he's like my era when I used to actually get into golf a little bit more. But hey, good for him, man. Good for you, John Daly. He's always entertaining, to be sure. I just got out of Coinbase. I took the buck. It's looking like it's making some lower highs. And again, we're sort of failing to get that little breakout that we're looking for. Will I show you Lucid? 100% I will. Whenever it sets up. Like we took the one key level that it got to at 1850. It did scalp out for a bit of a win, and then it broke back out. So I got out of it. Now it's making another crest at a key level at 19. So am I going to play this here? Of course I am. 100%. Like every time I see a setup that I like, I'm going to go ahead and do it. So it does fall in the category. Tesla keeps on trying to bounce toward that 715 area. Do not lose sight of Tesla. I'm not trying to ignore the stock. I think it's going to be there when we want it. It's just a matter of being patient for that particular name. As we only have about 10, 15 minutes to go for our show, but hey, still market movers to come. Trader Prad, Miss V, going to be all over that. And I'm sure they're going to be watching that same Tesla trade. All these EV names, as a matter of fact. I should take a look at, I haven't even looked at NIO once today, which is the first time this week that I haven't. A little curious myself, but right now there's other names that are a little bit more exciting. Obviously, you can see that with Rivian and Lucid and Tesla making some power moves. I don't want to ignore what's going on in retail just quickly here. Kohl's, I'm still on the offer on this bad boy here in front of 45. It doesn't feel like it wants to get there. So I have to watch this. Like, it got to 44. I had the reversal to the long. It stopped me out. Actually accidentally got short and just got out flat. But I don't think it gets to 45. Right now, it looks like 44 is the key level. That's what the long stopped out at, that 43. Couldn't get past 44. So that's what I'm now watching on Kohl's for that top.
All right, there it is. I hope Lucid's trending well today because this, for me, this would be my trade of the day as it's going to hopefully fail. I know Neil's trying to go short, so hopefully it fails here at 19. We're out of that trade, $1.50 winner, big time trading. But realistically, probably Cisco, for a trade of the day there because, 44, we hammered that. That was great. I mean, we could also choose AMD as well as that's been a monster. And then honestly, a trade that I'm most proud of, it would be Apple, and I've only just put it on right now. It's now in the money $1. We just put this trade on. We realized it was weak. We waited for it to break the low of the day of 139. As soon as that happened, man, we went short. We're actually short above 130. Well, now we're short at 139, but we did have a tick higher than that as well. So some nice trades here for Apple as that continues to go down to the downside. And we're going to end the day at the highest spot we've been at. Already made more money than we made yesterday, so that's a pretty good morning for me. We'll be back here in the afternoon. It's going to be a really great midday show as well with all these names dancing for you here today. So, I did see it. Shout out. Thanks, Bear Bulls there. He wanted to look at Grab, I guess. Was that something to look at here? Up 25%. Yeah, so GRAB. Don't know anything about this name, but a nice move to the upside. I think it was Dominic sent in a super chat there. And again, I know, we're getting some feedback that, we're looking at these stocks that Dominic is putting in here, but I mean, he's super chatting them. They're moving. I know there's a lot of traders that look at these things, and I don't stamp any of these for to trade. I don't trade these names, and nor would I ever. I mean, I would, I guess, if it was blowing up, but when I look at some of these names, it's more for you guys. I don't know if you're looking at PDT rules, things like that, but for me, I just looking at them for levels, things like that. So to me, this grab, if you break down 311 to the downside, I think that's going to be a short. You may even have to pay for shorts, but it's consolidating. So I said that I don't look at these trades, but this is looking good right here. It's consolidating. So it's going to break one way or the other, right? So just like when we were talking with Fahad there about Veru down at 13 when it was barcoding, blows up to the upside. So the same kind of thing happening right now on Grab, barcoding between 13.11 or 13.10 and 13.25. So either one of these breaks, I would think would be a good opportunity here to the upside. So thank you, Dominic, for pointing that out to us. For me, I'm not in it. You see the damage that we've been doing today. So we'll just continue on our pace and go over to Brendan with some talking money with Money Talks.
Hey guys, yeah, brought to you by the Small Exchange. Make sure you check out smallexchange.com. They're making it so easy to get into futures trading, guys. Speaking of PDT rule, no PDT rule, less capital required. Sign up today, smallexchange.com. The euro, the ECB specifically talking about more tightening coming in Europe. That has the dollar very, very weak so far today. And I want to focus on this one, not one we show on the actual chart here very often, but the biggest single day move today for the Swiss franc to the upside since 2016. Huge bounce off recent lows there. So 1.6%, in fact, for the Swiss franc back to the upside. British pound up more than a full percent as well, 1.2 on a weak dollar. So 0.8% for the DXY. Back to the downside. It's been a weak week for the dollar, if you want to talk in those terms. Canadian dollar, 0.5%. The euro, as I mentioned, almost a full percent as well, as even the ECB, guys, thinks more tightening needed still. Back over to you.
That's not terribly shocking, I guess, from the ECB. Someone just asked in the chat, is BNTX at a double top, possibly fail breaking? That's what it looks like right now on the chart. I mean, I just pulled it up like the second I saw that in there, 165, you saw it got taken out. The one thing to also keep in mind, and you can't see it now, so I'll try to do this for you guys. The volume on this move on BNTX. And this is why, like, this happens in a bear market. Like, look at the rally into that double top compared to the volume that you saw as it rallied into it the first time. As you can see, significantly higher volume before, a heck of a lot less volume going into it today. And, that's like great. It looks pretty strong, but obviously not nearly as strong as it might appear there. So a lot of times that does help it to be a bit of a fail break, especially when it wicks out that top. The fact that it's essentially glided to the upside and floated through less sellers than the last time I tried to come up here. So that's just a read on BNTX. But you're going to see a lot that's at the highs right now, especially given the support we're seeing in UVXY. And the resistance we're seeing on the NASDAQ, which is yet to be taken out. Even the ES can't really get through the highs. Maybe it'll do it in the afternoon. Maybe it'll do it at lunchtime. I don't know, but that's what we're watching right here. And for me, one of the potential jailbreaks is, of course, Tesla, which you keep seeing it over and over again. Here we go, one more time, up to this 715 area. Cannot seem to chew through it. This is one. If you can actually finally get through that, there's been some good longs, there's been some good shorts. That's where you can actually extend and maybe get past some of these key levels.
I hear Trader Prad there, Prop Prad, and props and parlays. So the triple P over there. Pushing P, Prad. Pushing P, seriously over there. Okay, so I just wanted to say right now, this 162, we talked about target. I mean, I don't know, Bears versus Bulls, you've been sort of time stamping some of these, but we talked about the target short at 162, breaking out through 164. Look what happened at the open. Target gave you everything you wanted at 162. It went to 162.50. Congratulations. I know Prad short this name as it's down to 153 right now. So what a monster move there for Target to the downside. And guess what else is happening right now? You know what? This AMD, honestly, like it's $100 again. Like this is just... Look at this. I mean, can I even go? We'll even show my trades from the other days. Probably it was loading it up, but then it stopped. We had long every single morning here on AMD, right? So today we have it. These are all these days. That's the open there, right? Here's another open. There's the open, bang. Right, here's the open again, right there, boom. That's not the open, that's 2 o'clock. The open there, bang again right there. Watch the open today, right here, boom. As there goes AMD. Guess what? This is 450 in the money right now on AMD as it's rocking to the high side. This market taking off right here, guys. The only thing, again, that I shouldn't have done, and again, it's on me. I'm responsible for every single one of these trades, obviously. Lucid, I got out when it broke 19. It just touched again 19.10. So that should have been maybe a stock that I held. Apple, yeah, it's back. We're back to flat on that name. We already took out 2/3 down there. This is probably another shorting area, but the market is ripping, so I think we'll back away from any Apple shorts right now. What a great day to trade. I hope you've enjoyed it. We've had record viewers. We had 300,000 likes, I wish. 300,000 subscribers. We could do a little like count, man. Show your appreciation for the show if you can. We're almost at that 2K. Pretty sure we can get to that. Turn that thumb upside down if it's the other way. But light it up, guys. 1.9K right now, 6,200 watching. If you haven't hit that like, that would be awesome. We're the best show on YouTube, trading or otherwise. We're live all day, every day the market's open. So thank you for your patronage and turn that like. Oh, we want to go earnings already? Anything, Neil, before we go to earnings?
UVXY is at that low. It just turned red on the day. Tesla just took out that 715. My stops didn't work. I had to manually get out of the short in front of it, but I'm trying to catch the long. But it is a green to red potentially on UVXY that I'm currently watching. Through 1750 might actually be worth a punch. I haven't done it yet, but the first trade could be coming on UVXY. We're not there yet, but we're getting close.
Brendo?
Okay, we're through most of the major ones as far as retail earnings. We'll get a couple more, obviously, coming next week and later on. But let's make it official here. We'll show you what's to come tonight and tomorrow for earnings.
Oh, yeah, Palo Alto and Footlog, yeah. Oh, well, AMAT's another one, by the way. I'll actually go to AMAT at some point here pretty quickly. They had relative strength 2 days ago going into earnings when AMD had its monster day, and since then, why is this still on UVXY? And since then, they have not been nearly as strong. Seriously, daily chart. But it's at a pretty good channel. What you want to look here immediately is you see the strength that's happening in the rest of the chip names. Well, AMAT nowhere near that resistance high. So it's showing some chinks in the armor, and I think because it's a little bit more cyclical, they could run into some troubles when it comes to supply chain and that kind of a thing. So they're on that other end of the coin where they're not as growthy of a company, if you want to call it that, and they could have some cyclical concerns. So watch out for that forward guidance from them because this is more of a safety type of a name in the chip space, and you're seeing it struggle somewhat at the lower high when everything else is at the higher high of the last couple of weeks.
All right, guys, thank you for all the love. I mean, I'm glad that you listen. You're here for some of the rants, you're here for the entertainment, you're here for the trading, and yeah, I'll look to see what I think we have one. I keep saying we. I have one red day this month, guys. So it's been a good month, man. I love trading. I love being here for you guys. And again, thank you for the support. We're over 32,000 or so Twitter followers as well. So it means a lot, to me to just continue to do this show for you. Vinco Ventures. Oh, someone wanted me to look at NEO. So let's do that quickly. NEO is another name that I often trade here on the show. We had long the other day, 1550, which was absolutely fantastic. Trading as well. NEO at the high. Actually, it's not horrible up here, 1650, but that's just what it looks like on the daily chart. Obviously, it's had its up and downs here. So realistically, you'd like to get long 1625-ish on a daily. I'm not even going to look at a daily. It doesn't matter right now. The 20-minute right here for NEO. Yeah, you're gonna run into a high here around 17. Obviously, that comes into play right there. So I don't mind it. I actually like it better on a 17 break. To be honest with you, we'll take yesterday's high that it couldn't break out through. So I don't like in the middle here, but if we could break through 17, I think I like that play. We got to get ready for the midday show, but let's go over to Valeria quickly here for what day it is.
Hey guys, we're running out of the time already, so thank you so much for everything you do for us. Join Prad and me right after. A happy National Devil's Food Cake, everyone.
I love pastries, but that's not in my top 10. I got to be honest with you. Like, it's a good cake, but it's not the best, and I don't know.
Yeah, I don't.
It's not my.
I don't
I don't. It's like I'm pulling the air out of it, but like
yeah.
I don't know. It's not
No,
that.
you're
great.
not really.
It's
I mean, I
overrated.
don't have a huge I don't have a huge sweet tooth. Like I'd rather have like. Maybe like a cheesecake with some chocolate drizzle on it or something like that. I know cheesecake's still sweet, but not like that's loaded up there in sugar, and so is
and
cheesecake.
rich.
But it's just the chocolate. It's sometimes too much chocolate. Like I like the chocolate almonds. I like things
Chocolate
like that.
cashews.
Oh yeah, well yeah. Look, chocolate on anything
chocolate
is a jam. So
cashews,
let's not
chocolate
get that
cashews.
twisted. But we like that, Brendan.
Hard pass.
Yeah, see, yeah. So hard pass on that one. So not a cake. Well, he does. I guess more of a pie guy. We've talked about that.
Pie is
on
like
the show.
here, cake is like there, but
Yeah.
it's I don't know. You know what I actually really like? It's like a rum cake, like West Indian fruit cake. It's a black cake, whatever you want to call it, but you marinate the mix in rum, which we have one
Yes,
sitting in our
yes,
house, which has
yes.
been marinating for a year. So when my wife makes that fruit cake, it is like the greatest thing you've ever had in your life. It'll get you drunk. But anyways, enough about that. Market is moving. Tesla just got to 720, so the jailbreak will be on. I'll be either in Tesla long or Lucid short, but not both when we come back to you guys. For now, let's go to Trader Prad and Miss V. Go get them.
Welcome to Market Movers. I'm your host, Trader Prad, and this is the beautiful Miss V.
Thank you, Prad. Hey guys, welcome. Indeed, I hope you're having a great day so far. Thank you for joining us today. Be active on the chat, ask us anything, and go long on the like button. So, Prad, how's it going?
Pretty good so far, just looking for opportunities as always. Market's